SIBOL Combine live August 29 to 31, 10:30 a.m. at the Activity Center, Ayala Mall Circuit, Makati. Admission is free.
Welcome back to Day 2 of the SIBOL National Pool Combine. Para sa mga kakasali pa lang sa ating live stream, pati na rin yung mga gamers or gaming fans na nandito, able to join us here at Ayala Malls in Circuit Makati. Welcome. We are 2 out of 3 today.
Isa na lang. May isa na lang. Pero ito, yung nakita natin kanina was Dota 2 action. Nakita niyo yung levels ng gameplay na pinapakita ng ating mga very skilled players at talagang all-star cast ang makikita natin ng mga players na ito kasi nakapag-international player, nakapag-competition na rin sila sa ibang bansa eh.
Yes, of
so
course.
talagang salang-sala nga, kumbaga. Pero meron pa silang mapupuntahan, sasalain pa yan lalo.
Yes.
Alam mo yun? Kalain mo yun? Pwede pa pala yun.
As part of the first national team na lalaban nga sa 30th SEA Games that will be happening this December here in Manila. And sabi mo nga, iba kasi para sa atleta yung meron ng international experience.
Oo
So
naman.
that is really a step up for Team Philippines, knowing the experience na meron na yung mga pambato natin when it comes to esports.
Tsaka yung qualifiers naman natin, nung paano sila pinili, hindi rin basta-basta. Kasi magagaling din yung mga kalaban nila doon. Yun, akalain mo yun. So, ngayon, itong mga natitira na to, meron pang next step. Sasalain pa ulit yan. Para talagang the best of the best of the best. Ayos ba yun?
Ayos na ayos.
Alright.
Ganun ka the best yung mga nakikita natin dito. And of course, every time I watch these e-sports athletes play, na-inspire ako mag-download ng maraming games.
Well, nakwento mo sa akin, hindi lang basta download. Kasi bumibili ka rin ng mga skin.
Yes. Siyempre, hindi naman complete yung gaming experience kung hindi mo nako-customize rin
No.
yung mga characters na ginagamit mo, di ba?
Minsan doon na nga napupunta lahat ng kinikita natin.
Actually,
Sa skins.
diretso talaga dun. So,
Oh.
I heard that Razer really has a more convenient way to
Yes.
be able to buy these skins as well.
Yes, oo, totoo yan. So, meron tayong tinatawag na Razer Gold, which I use. Kaya ang dali bumili, kaya nauubos yung pera ko. Kasi ganun siya ka-convenient. Alright? So, explain ko sa'yo.
Okay.
Kung paano ba, ano ba tong Razer Gold na ito? Makikita niyo yung booth nila nandun, no? So, yan. Hi!
Guys,
Ayan,
check
andyan
it
ang
out.
Razer Gold nandun.
They are right there.
So, ito, tinan natin, Carla.
Okay.
Check this out. So, Razer Gold and Silver. Okay? The unified virtual credits for gamers. So, kumbaga, ano siya? Online currency siya. So, pwede ka bumili dyan. Okay? Using Razer Gold, you can buy skins. You can buy whatever you need. Okay? Ayan. So, tingnan natin, over 2,500 games and entertainment. Now, you can also buy games. Ayan, makikita mo. So, ito yung mga partners nila ngayon. We've got their Mobile Legends. Andyan, lahat ng nilalaro ko, nandyan. So, siguro, magkano na nagastos ko sa tig-isang games na yan? Alam nila yan, alam ng Razer Gold yan. Hindi ko alam kung nakikita nila yung account ko. But you can see there, Mobile Legends, you'll see Dragoness, Ragnarok, makikita mo yung mga Hearthstone, and many more. Yes, actually mga Steam games meron din dyan. Okay? So, pwede mong gamitin sa mga yan. Now, where do you buy Razer Gold? Dito kayo mamamangha. It's very easy, all right? So we got physical stores, yung mga convenience stores natin, available nationwide. You can use your phone. Kung may load ka na extra, pwede mong gamitin dyan. Kung wala ka namang ka-text, wala kang aray.
Maraming natamaan.
Kung wala ka namang tinatawagan, instead na mag-unli ka for 3 days, pero 1 day mo lang siya gagamitin, ibili mo na lang ng Razer Gold at malay mo, makabili ka pa ng skin, di ba? So, may online channels din. Ayan, online channels. May mga website na pwede, ililink mo lang yung credit card mo. Okay? So, ingat-ingat lang pala doon sa mga gumagamit ng credit card, ha? Dahil ganyan kadali. Okay? So, tingnan natin. How to create. Alright. So, pupuntahan mo lang po yung website nila, which is gold.razer.com. razer.com and follow these simple steps. Alright, now, kita nyo naman dyan, create an account. What you can do, ako, it's not safe though, linink ko siya sa Facebook account ko. You can also use your Gmail or Google account. And makikita mo dun, meron pa dun, Twitch yata, yun. Pero yun, linink ko siya sa Facebook account ko. So pag nahack yung Facebook account ko, ang dami yung Razer Gold. Congratulations. But it's very easy, alright? Now, once you have your account, pwede na lang i-load dyan yung Razer Gold nyo. Now, ito pang isang malupit. Pag nag-load kayo ng Razer Gold, meron silang tinatawag na Razer Silver, which is the rewards. Okay? So may reward system dito, Carla. The more you buy, the more you get. Siyempre. Okay? Kunwari, meron dyan mga keyboard. Nandyan, from Razer. Meron dyan mga headset. Pwede. Ako, iniipon ko yung silver ko every time. Para yan! Kita mo naman yan, di ba? Kitang-kita. So may mga mouse, nandyan, may in-game load. You can get them all if you save up your Razer Silver. But you get that from buying Razer Gold. Okay? So may points talaga siya. So yun ang pinakamalupit na feature ng Razer Gold. Bukod sa napakadali gamitin, madaling bumili, alam mo, hindi na masyadong hindi na hassle, meron ka pang rewards. Alright? So all you have to do is sign up, okay, dun sa website na yun, and it's for free. Alright? Now, you can also go to the booth, the Razer Gold booth right there. Okay? Na pwede kayo mag-register dyan. At meron din kaming mga onting pakulo dyan kung gusto nyo manalo ng mga Razer Gold. Nandyan, Carla, if you wanna join. You know, maybe.
Kahapon pa akong sumisilip-silip dyan.
Nakita ko yan.
Biglang dumami ang ating mga tao sa Razer booth after that presentation because what I love about it is that it's accessible, it's free to sign up, and of course, as gamers, we all want the best accessories. And how awesome is it na, aside from getting the skins that we want, perk na rin yun.
Oo, pwede ka pa makakuha yan. Actually, gusto ko makuha dyan yung meron silang mug na parang RGB.
Yeah.
Umiilaw yung ilalim.
You know what I want? I want the earphones with the cat ears.
Yeah.
The pink.
The cat ears.
The Kraken. Yeah.
Wala yata, hindi ko alam. Bulong na lang natin. Baka meron dun sa
yung gusto ko.
website nila.
But you know what? Aside from these exciting things happening there, we have another exciting event coming up.
Oo nga. Ayun na. Ang ating last game, no? Ang last game natin, StarCraft II.
Yeah, that is happening in just a little bit. Kaya tutok lang kayo dito. And of course, for everyone here, please stay because we have StarCraft II coming your way.
SIBOL Combine live August 29 to 31, 10:30 a.m. at the Activity Center, Ayala Mall Circuit, Makati. Admission is free.
Good evening sa inyong lahat and welcome back to the SIBOL National Pool Combine live here at Ayala Mall Circuit, Makati. Carla, it's time.
It's time
Ito
for
na
a
talaga.
classic.
Yes, it's a classic. No matter who you choose, Zerg, Terran, Protoss, kahit sino pa yan, handa na ba kayo mag-take notes at makakita ng high-level plays sa StarCraft II coming from our invited players? Nako, Carla.
I'm sure they're ready. Tayo, ready na.
Oo naman.
Kahapon pa namin sila pinapanood mag-practice and it's just amazing. So I'm excited to
I was
see it.
I was watching Ender. Si Ender. Okay? Yung champion sa
Yeah.
WSG. Grabe yung hand speed.
I know.
Nakita mo ba? Di ba pinakita ko sa'yo?
Yeah, and we can hear it and I'm shocked.
I was like, may nagtatype ba sa likod? I was like, may nagtatype ba? Ay, wala pala.
Intensity
Okay.
level
Siya lang pala
1,000,
yun.
guys.
Oo nga. Kailangan niya ng customized keyboard do kasi nakatagilid eh. No, yung keyboard niya. Pero ito na nga. Ready na ba tayo? Ready ka na ba? Okay?
Ready na.
Sige, bato na natin sa ating mga casters. Nandyan si Daxcast at si ano yun?
Arcanthiel.
Arcanthiel.
Take it away, guys.
Oh, are we on? Oh, hi. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Yeah, welcome to the SIBOL Combine. My name is Arcanthiel,
What's up? I'm Dax.
and we're here to provide the StarCraft commentary. I think na-hype na ng hosts natin si Caviar, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of
he's
hype.
one of the oldest players talaga in StarCraft. Not literally, but he's very competitive.
Yeah, he's been in the regional scene all over the international, even qualifying for the WCS qualifiers recently. But we also have a number of talents alongside him in our combine.
Yes, we're in for a very exciting match today. Kasi all of these players, they didn't come here like just join up, right? They had to fight for this position. And as StarCraft being one of the oldest esports in the world, this is an actual fact, actually.
Yeah, number one.
Now, there's a lot of skill involved in it. So, we came from Dota earlier, right? Which is kind of ironic because Dota came from StarCraft. If you
Aeon of Strife.
Aeon of Strife.
Old school.
Exactly, perfect. So, for those of you guys who are new and haven't encountered StarCraft before, StarCraft is like Dota. But imagine that instead of controlling one hero across the maps, you're controlling everything. So that's basically what our players are going to be going, they're going to be doing. So, should be very excited.
Yeah, you can see how fast their keyboards, their mouses all just fly. It's really quick. APM. APM is a big thing in StarCraft and all about these RTSs. So these guys having the reflexes of foxes and any kind of quick animal you can think of.
So yeah, you did mention the APM thing. For you guys, kasi we are surrounded by new community. Esports has grown since I've last casted.
Oh.
And we have a lot of new people. Bibigyan natin sila ng like quick primer into our terms. For example, APM. Ang APM, it means actions per minute. They mentioned na nagiginig nila na nagta-type si Ender ng sobrang bilis sa likod. Kasi in StarCraft, kailangan mong ginagawa ng sobrang dami at the same time. You have to be thinking about kung ano yung mga gusto mong gawin na units, anong i-manage mo sa base mo, o kung saan mo lalagay yung mga structures, kung saan mo kukunin yung mga resources mo. So it's very important. The more things you can do at the same time, the better player you will be. So a lot of our players, talagang na-training sila. It's an acquired skill na magka-type ka lang mabilis. Pero I think we'll see that in-game as we start. So for now, let's introduce our players. Let's go, Dax.
So introducing our players. Our first one should be Phoenix of Terran fame. Honestly, he's been playing Terran, the only Terran in our combine so far. Everyone else of the race of Zerg. He loves playing mech a lot. He does play the Battlecruiser from time to time. And something he likes to do, the Great Wall of Supply Depots, just keep himself defended. Very turtley kind of guy.
Okay, and the other player we have is Siphon. Siphon, right?
Siphon.
In this Cypher?
Siphon.
Siphon.
It's like
Siphon.
N with an M.
Okay. So in our world of Zergs, Siphon is a very interesting factor. Kasi, well, I'll talk about it in game as we go on. Pero yeah, I want to touch in what you said to Phoenix kanina. He's the only Terran. StarCraft has 3 races, but for now, out of the 4 players we have here in the Combine, we have 3 Zergs and 1 Terran.
1 human.
So it's like, you know the movie, what's that movie? Alien
From your
versus-
time?
Well, yeah, little bit. Alien versus Predator. This is just Alien.
This is Alien
Ah.
and the human and
Humans and the 3.
Ridley Scott or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
it's,
So
perfect.
yun yung setup natin
So-
ngayon. Imagine.
So wala yung Predator.
No. Sadly, they're too overpowered to play in this
So,
tournament.
yeah.
So
Banned dun sa Open Qualifiers.
yeah, sadly.
No, it wasn't, guys.
Just kidding.
No, it wasn't. It was close though. It was very close.
Yeah,
Actually-
actually surprisingly ang taas ng ano natin, skill floor for our tournament dito sa SIBOL. All of the people came out kasi StarCraft, you know, it doesn't have a ridiculously big scene here in the Philippines. Pero a lot of the players play overseas. The servers are still running, of course, and there's still
Still alive.
competitions. So people play by themselves more for the most part. Now, nung lumabas tong SIBOL, everybody got excited. Like, hey, we want to represent our country. So, yung mga nakatago natin na talents, they rose up, they came out of their hibernating chambers, and they went in. The day was, super competitive, super hype. Yeah, you could say that.
I can actually talk about it a little more. I had the pleasure to cast the Open Qualifiers, and it was so close at the top. There was really Zerg by the tail end. It was really Phoenix being the only outlier, but there were a few Protoss as well. From time to time, there were a few rounds where they were showing up, but no, the powerhouses, and you can see that the guys who have qualified here to the Combine are the ones who have beaten out those predators, those aliens, and sadly we won't see all the side, we won't see some Archons. Usually, if you think of StarCraft, you think mostly of the Protoss for some people. They're more iconic, especially the big blue balls, the Side Storms, and everything, even the Caterpillars, if you remember those. But now we're back on to, humanity versus aliens again. StarCraft. Very classic.
Actually, out of all the matches, ang paborito kong panoorin is like Terran versus Zerg. Because again, there's the whole alien versus humans thing. And I think we'll see it. Our first match is going to be Terran versus Zerg, so we'll be able to show you guys live why we love it so much. Pero, yeah, it's kind of sad na. Oh, I think we're already in game.
Oh, we are.
All right, okay, so
Let's get it on. Let's get it done. Our first game gonna be Phoenix versus Siphon, and as we were saying, it is a TVZ. That means Terran versus Zerg, and our map. It's gonna be ephemeral, I believe. I cannot see much, but here on the top left, we are gonna have our red Terran. In the meantime, on the bottom right, we got Siphon playing on that blue Zergs. What do you expect from our players to actually come out?
well, in StarCraft, there's a lot of things that you can do. So many things. It's really hard to, funnel it down. Pero I think a little bird whispered to me earlier. Sabi niya, Phoenix will go next.
We'll go.
Don't tell anyone, guys.
So, if you guys don't know about our StarCraft players right now, there are a few tendencies on what builds you want to go on. In StarCraft, there are a lot of tech trees to go around, a lot of unit types. And for Terran, you have biological, which are usually the people with guns, and they're like, we're gonna run out, we're gonna try to get some kills. In the meantime, if you get into a tank, if you get into a robot, that's what you call a mech. So mechanical play is something that Phoenix really loves to do, but we are seeing some standard play right now from both our players. It is your usual affair. You have your expansions, you have your tech structures to build your first tier of units, and now we'll see how Siphon and Phoenix are gonna adjust into this gameplay.
Actually, you did mention there are a bunch of stuff that people usually do. We call it meta, right?
Yeah.
And again, StarCraft is like a super big painting board. Now, the reason people usually go for the standard builds is because they're the most efficient way to get to what you need to do. Like, hey, I want to get my army really, really fast. This is what I'm going to do. Pero, some of the players have their own styles.
Yep.
And some of those styles may not be the most efficient way to play, but they make them work.
It works for them. Build orders are something you even put an Excel sheet for a few players, but if you know how to play, then it is gonna be how it is gonna be. But anyway, Phoenix right now gonna be sending out a few of those scouts in StarCraft. It's very important to scout out your opponent. Why? It's not because about anything about kill potential, but you need to know what they're building so you can build the thing against it. It's rock, paper, scissors in the most complicated way, and that's what RTSs are all about.
You were right. You're right. Because this is basically war. This is StarCraft. It's a fictional war. And sabi nga ni what's that guy?
Sunju?
G.I. Joe.
Oh,
He
G.I.
said,
Joe.
knowing is half the battle. StarCraft information is very important because, as we say, may mga meta builds silang sinasabi. Now, if you know what your enemy is doing by seeing what buildings he's up to, you can play around that.
Yeah, and it seems like they do know what these guys are going to do. So the Reaper there from Phoenix going to scout out that second best Siphon in the meantime. Had some Zerglings available, so they were able to just scrap each other out. No workers were lost. And this is what you usually see from Phoenix. Oh, the cluster bomb going to bounce at that queen. So that bomb doesn't really do much damage, but it does bounce around those units, especially if you do it against workers. It bothers them while they're doing their task of gathering minerals. So the Reaper right now getting a little bit of healing from that combat drugs, and we will see a send-off here from Phoenix as well.
Oh, this is, as a Zerg myself, this is one of the things I really, really hate seeing. The Reaper itself already does a ton of potential damage, but combining it with this one is going to be tough for our Zerg player to... Well, he's going to survive it, I'm pretty sure. But it's going to be very tough for a couple of minutes for him. Here we go, Zerg. Getting caught out of position.
And here comes Hellions. They are trying to get in position right there, looking to go for the burn up. And as we were seeing, on the side, we did have the upgrade of the Carapace to actually try and get that movement speed for the Overlords out and about. And as my co-caster here has been saying, this is a very scary composition, especially against Zerglings. Those Hellions going for the roast. We get the cluster bomb as well. The creep tumor gets taken down.
Very annoying.
Very annoying.
That's all I can say. It's very annoying. I like na meron na siyang speed. The speed will really help. But the amount of Hellions coming out, it's he's gonna have to micro really hard. The two queens are gonna be able to help. Pero with the current situation, I don't know. I think what he's doing might work out.
Phoenix
Hopefully,
is so
queens out of creep, very dangerous.
Have you seen this? The Phoenix is just so annoying with those Hellions. He's not even going for the queens. He's going for the creep tumors.
Nothing weird at all happening.
It doesn't allow the Zerg to creep on up. As a Zerg, you want to have that bonus movement speed with the group all over. And the Medivac there, getting the rescue of the Hot Wheels, those Hellions going to be able to hop on away. It's interesting that you can actually load in anything and everything in your, in your flyers. Speaking of, we do see something coming across in the map.
I don't want to talk about it yet. We'll wait what happens. Pero yeah, the Medivac heals biological units, pero with our race cars, they're not gonna do much. Oh, speaking of doing much.
Oh, Banelings! Beautiful. Baneling drops there from Siphon on points, and that is something you can really do now with the newest patch. Movement speed has been
very cheap now.
Yeah, very cheap. Very accessible.
From what I heard, it's standard na. Everybody gets Overlord speed. Usually, it's an option that if you want to scout the map, but with the new changes, might as well get it every game.
Yeah, and individually you can have Overlords get carry capacity. So beautiful Baneling drops there from Siphon.
This is very smart, actually. Sorry to interrupt you. That was very smart. What Siphon is doing is he's limiting the creep, and that will not allow him to do anything. But speaking of doing anything, looks like our Zerg player just decided, nah, hey, I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm just gonna nib on your supply depot wall.
He's making a landmark. Great wall of supply depots. Queens do go down, Bailing Nest now getting burnt up as well.
Here we go!
Surprise, surprise! Battle Cruiser!
Hello.
Light speed there with the tactical warp. Going on that second base, and you can see everything burning to a crisp. The Queens just screaming in agony, getting taken down. The Hellions going for the burn as well. The drones are in the line!
Oh, no.
And you see those flamethrowers just gonna be keeping the damage up.
No.
Really good damage done here by Phoenix.
The flamethrowers is doing a ton of damage, and that Battle Cruiser just made him go up. It's like, okay, I'm out.
I'm done.
I'm done.
And that's how StarCraft is. Once you know that you're down and out, you don't waste time anymore. Usually you only see an elongated GG if you feel like it's a PO.
Some of the really good players, they can fight until the death and come back. I actually saw Siphon come back yesterday. I was here. I was checking our players do their scrims. So if maybe not that game actually, but we'll see on the next game. Because yesterday he was, honestly, just to tell you the truth, I think it was laddering. Pero it was under the same situation. But it was Zerg versus Zerg. And I was saying, oh no, he's out. He's out. He's totally out. But like a minute later, I take a look at my phone and then I go back to the screen and he's winning.
Oh,
Like,
God.
it's definitely doable,
It
man.
really goes to show that he really deserves a spot here. He's making these
Yeah,
things happen.
totally.
But Phoenix just too overwhelming. It's just a type disadvantage there. The light units getting burnt to a crisp by the Hellions. Even though he had a really good baiting drop there from Siphon, there was still the great wall of supply depots he couldn't deal with, couldn't actually go for the workers. And you would think, oh no, Phoenix is in a bad spot, didn't have any SCVs whatsoever to keep his economy up. But no, he was doing really good damage. And he got a key unit ready and out while Siphon was not ready. He didn't have any anti-air for the battle cruiser. With light speed, it just teleports to your base and pew pew pew, everything just gets taken down.
Actually, I do have my own opinions regarding that wall.
Yeah.
Pero the thing is,
It's a lot of
he,
minerals.
he executed his strategy really well, and Siphon was not able to scout it properly, I guess. If you scouted your opponent, if you see that he's building a lot of gas, he's probably going to build some gas units, and that would probably help going to the next game. But for now, I think that's a really good lesson to learn from our players. For anyone who's interested in playing StarCraft, yun, if you're looking at your opponents and you see that he doesn't have gas, gas is like a second resource. Is the one that you need to build a building on.
Mine it too.
You have to mine it, of course. Pero it's an indicative. The information that you'll get, oh, he's getting a lot of gas. So he's probably going to do something gas related. Because if he's not getting anything gas related, he's probably not going to do anything minerals.
Yeah, and with the thing he built itself, the battle cruiser, it requires certain structures to
Yes,
actually get it
exactly.
up and out. So you need the star port, you need the tech lab on it, and you need the fusion core. So these buildings could have gotten scouted out by Siphon at any time, but seems like we are going to get
Into the
next
game,
Yeah,
yeah.
next really quick games here in StarCraft. People think that RTS games take so long, like an hour and a half, that kind of thing. But no, sometimes it just lasts 10 minutes. In the current meta of StarCraft 2, 2 minutes, you have the second base.
Yeah, actually, you can die in 2 minutes in StarCraft as well, but we'll see. We're already in the game, and okay, it seems like we're in Acropolis.
Oh, Acropolis LE. And I love this overlay, and I love this map. Acropolis LE. Pretty classic. One of the ladder maps that did stay on for the new season. Still has a lot of high ground, still has a lot of low ground, and has a really fun middle point to actually engage on.
Actually, since you mentioned the map, StarCraft has this, parang different tier. They all, Dota and all the other mobile games, they have one map. In StarCraft, there's so many maps that change almost every season. Acropolis itself is, as you said, a new map. And, looking at the map itself, it's, a big, almost reminds me of Metalopolis. Big map around, and there's a huge space in the center for fights, right? And the third is relatively easy to get. Now, sometimes, the factor that will let you win a game is the map itself. If there's a certain thing that you can exploit, a certain cliff that your units can come through. So, what I'm trying to say is that it's another layer to the complexity of StarCraft. And Acropolis, one of our newer maps, means that yung mga players natin, they probably haven't practiced as many games as they did in the old ladder maps. So this is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
right?
We'll see how they are going to play on Acropolis. As you were saying, it is a newer map, but it isn't the newest.
It isn't.
It was from the last half of the latter season. This time it's a new season, so it's a carryover one, but it's still pretty new. So it really depends on how much ladder you have played. And I haven't heard Metalopolis in so long. What are you gonna say next? Junk Station,
I'm showing my
Rise
age.
of the Selnaga. Those are like
Selnaga Caverns,
Yeah,
the Taste Those
guys. Well, in StarCraft 2 and how it released, there were 3 expansion packs, and we were talking about maps from all the way from 2011 when Wings of Liberty. Now we're on Legacy of the Void. Each expansion pack just having one race to show for. But in the meantime, let's talk about the game. Phoenix with that one map lead in RBO3, and we are going to see the
Okay, here we go.
standoff. Reaper versus Zerglings.
Okay, here we go again. Very annoying for our Zerg player to deal with, especially he doesn't have speed yet, right? So this unit, just to illustrate to you guys, it's so fast and it heals whenever it's not attacked. So all he needs to do is just be very annoying and disruptive, and he's essentially paying for himself. Kasi when you're making a unit in StarCraft II, you're investing in it, right? Hey, I want to get my minerals, my mileage out of this unit, and that unit doesn't even have to kill anything. He just needs to be, hey, I'm here. Hey, be very afraid. And it's forcing our Siphon to react to it.
The pistols are very annoying, and the cluster bomb even worse. Because look at that.
Look at that.
The queen crawls like a caterpillar of creep, and another thing that Phoenix is really just doing is trying to disrupt those creep tumors from coming his way. So really, the Reaper is a unit that is very micro-intensive. It does mean that you need to put attention into it, and really great players can put the attention as well as fix up that base.
Okay, I just want to point out something real quick. At the bottom of the screen, you can see each of our players' APM. I saw Phoenix reach up to 900.
What a guy.
900 actions per minute. That's pretty fast. I really want to talk about the builds, but I don't want to.
You got us.
No
spoilers.
I don't want to do spoilers.
But we can talk about general builds for our two races, but it seems like something's going to happen.
Here we go.
Stand up, the queens.
I like it. I like it. Let's
Not,
see what's going to happen.
No, nothing. I don't think anyone
Wait. This positioning is very specific.
Yes.
Is there? Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We're hyping up something that's not there yet, man.
But it's gonna be there eventually.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And this is very important right now because Siphon does see the Reaper being annoying. Phoenix, in the meantime, getting the vision.
Sorry, I like that because he's distracting him from this exact position. Like
Zerglings.
One Reaper at the base. I'm gonna pay attention to that. Oh wait, no, never mind. There's Zerglings in their natural.
Yeah, Hellions.
But he dealt with it pretty well.
Yeah, he has natural counter. Hellions in position, but he does expose the fact that he does have that medevac. So it was Phoenix.
That's what we were trying to say earlier.
Trying to go for the drop play, but it just doesn't happen.
Here we go. I see what's gonna happen. Look at that. Yeah. I think it's his signature na talaga.
Yeah, it's meta, honestly.
Really?
I would say that when in doubt, just go for it.
I've been seeing it a lot.
It's too strong.
In the competitive play, but I thought it was like a meme build. Pero with the buffs that unit had, it's really good now, right? I do have a question. Once it comes out, is the skill already ready, or do you have to wait for the cooldown?
Which one? The one that moves it around is ready to go. The other one needs to be researched, basically.
That's the question. Sorry, we can't be specific because it's spoilers.
No spoilers.
Anyway,
we're
I think the Great Wall of Supply Depot is flaring up red on the red base. Oh, they got in. Here we go. Line them up.
Milan.
SCVs going around, getting damaged.
SCV's trying to stay alive. They're going for the brawl. The Hellions though on that ramp, and in the meantime, there is something going on in the Zerg base. There's a little bit of a flash in the pan, and the Hellions gonna come our way. So both sides gonna be losing workers left, right, and center. Here we go into the middle line, going for the burn. The Queens in the meantime gonna try to go for the poke. That's just one Queen too little. We do see some reinforcements in the meantime, but see that side with the workers. It's pretty evening on up here for Phoenix. He's trying his luck, but here we go with some roaches as well. The medevac goes down, and these Hellions are having no way home this time. Gonna be so difficult for Phoenix to actually come on back.
It's kind of sad that Siphon had to show his hand. He was trying to hide those roaches from his opponent, but it looks like he had to defend them. It wasn't as damaging as the Zergling run by with 7 workers killed, but I think that's just what he needed anyway. So look at this, he's gonna go out, and here we go. That's the Battlecruiser right there. Ravagers are gonna be having a hard time dealing with that because of their skill. Look at that.
They're trying to use the Bile against Battlecruiser, but he decides since he's going for the Roach Ravager all in, he's just going to commit onto the ground, let the Battlecruiser do its job, but at the same time go for the brawl. The Hellions though, going for the surround, trying to take care of the ramp. The supply depot is down, so this allows the Ravagers to come on in again. Bile is very important here for these big units, but they will get taken down. So who wins out in a fight like this? Phoenix?
No, just in terms of resource lost, Siphon really took a hit there.
Well, the will, man.
Here's the thing. In order for you to hit things with Ravagers anti-air, they have to stand. They have to stand their ground. Hey, hit me.
Yeah,
but battle cruisers, they're the only unit that does not need to stand around to fire.
Cyclones too.
Yeah, it's a skill.
Yeah, it's a skill.
It's a skill.
But yeah, technically, you're correct. Battle cruisers can just move around. They go pew 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 everywhere.
Yeah.
They want to go the laser beams flying on out.
Look at that.
And you see,
hey, hi, bye balloons.
goodbye. Overlord's gonna get taken down, and this is an interesting conundrum for both our players. Phoenix has to expose his BC early, so he can't go for the tactical warp on in. In the meantime, Siphon is in a very precarious situation since, at the same time, he went for the Roach Ravager. He doesn't have much against anti-air, so he has to mass up those queens, play it safe, get some minerals, get some gas, and go for Hydra or something else like the Spire.
You know, if any race is able to adapt, it's Zerg, actually. So I think Siphon will be fine. The thing is, the game is on Phoenix's hands now because he's the one with the tempo. If he times his battle cruisers right, he's gonna do a lot of damage. Oh, he scans. There's a teleport.
Oh,
Ooh, two now. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's
He
too
needs to
strong.
attack early. That way, his opponent hasn't built up the defenses for it.
The Transfusion though are on point, but the healing over time, it's not instant anymore, and Siphon just falling to the same trick again. This time, seeing double, he might need to get some glasses after this one. And here we go with the shots. The Mule even. Mana Mule also for repair. Very, very important to keep those BCs alive. The main base gonna get taken down. And Siphon is at an impasse. He doesn't want to call it yet since this is a BO3, but things look dire here for Zerg.
It's very dire. Yeah, you were right. I thought it was a Manor Mule, but yeah, it's a Battle Cruiser. You can repair it. And that's doing a ton of damage to Siphon's base. Phoenix is really on the upper hand now. I'm not sure how he's going to get out of this. He does have some recharges left, but no anti-air whatsoever. He's down to his last, no, not even one queen. Oh, it is, last queen. And a couple of roaches. But again, the only way for roaches to hit those battle cruisers is for them to turn into Ravagers and then for the battle cruisers to stand up. So it's a pretty long shot here, my friend.
This is a 1% chance right there, right now. It's how many parsecs do you need to navigate into this one? But in the meantime, here we go with the speedsters.
And
this has to be
I think he's gonna
beginning
have
the
a
end.
barbecue.
Goodbye.
Porting out. Oh, gonna be helping with the third.
And here we go into the second. The road
This
is
is just overkill, my friend.
This is just Phoenix knowing that he has the win already. Siphon in the meantime, just trying to still stay on the BCs, keeping the shots still from Phoenix. That's one more hatchery going on down, and this is so precarious for our Zerg player. He has one last base, he has one last chance, but that chance is dwindling every single second. The Roach Warren now getting taken down. That's going to be not allowing any roaches whatsoever. The spawning pool is there, but what can hit those BCs? Absolutely nothing. Spore Crawlers trying their might. Yes, into the middle line they go. The Hellions going for the burn on in as well. And this is just complete entrenchment here from Phoenix right now. So on point with the micro, with the macro, with the mech into the air as well. And really the tendencies here for our players winning the Terran ends out.
Phoenix gets this round 2-0. Okay, now that we've seen 2 games of Phoenix, I think I can talk about it. This strategy, the BC thing, I think it is, again, signature. Yes. So here's the thing. There are some advantages to having like your signature build in StarCraft. First of all is you'll be able to practice it a lot. That means you're gonna know its ins and outs, the weaknesses, where you will be, you know, you'll be vulnerable for your opponent to attack you, but at the same time, right, your opponent will know what you're up to. Some of our players have their own pocket builds, but from what I've seen is that Phoenix really likes his mech.
Yep.
It's a really good gameplay, and here's the interesting part. We know we have like 3 Zergs and a Terran here, right? But Phoenix is actually our hidden Protoss player because he plays Terran like a Protoss.
Very bunkered in. He's very
Normally,
intrinsic.
if you're a Terran, you'll split your army, go around, harass your opponent on all fronts, make him like make mistakes, small mistakes, like drop some units in his base, drop here, sprinkle there, and then that leads into him, you know, losing some workers, making some mistakes, slowing down. But Phoenix is like, yeah, I'm just gonna mass some stuff, do a straight harass, go back, and then punch in the big units.
Push-pull. It's very push-pull.
Exactly. So that's a very Protoss way to play. And I think that's amazing.
I like it's an adaptation for him, and it really goes to show what he's used to. It's kind of interesting that he doesn't play Protoss in the first place with his playstyle, but it just might mean that these units are the ones he likes. He does enjoy Hellions to turn into Hellbats. He loves the Thors when they show up, Siege Tanks as well, and now BCs as well. So we don't see too much drop from him unless it involves one of those units.
No, that's actually the beauty of it, because you're right. Let's compare it to Dota. In Dota, you have a hero, right? It has its role, but within that role, you pick your items, your skill builds. It's the same with StarCraft. Like if you're using Terran, you can play like a Terran and drop, or you can be like Phoenix, using Terran to play like a Protoss, because you know probably he likes the way the units interact, or like just being human, right? But he also likes how Protoss plays.
Wait.
So he's taking some slices
So
from
you're saying
the other races.
I should build Mask Madness and Crystal Maiden because that's how I want to play Crystal Maiden.
Do it, man.
Yeah, okay, no problem. I'll
You'll
see
probably-
I'll see you in the ladder, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Probably
gonna
get some ladder points from that.
It sounds so great, but you know,
I'm not saying it's a viable
it's
build.
a great build.
It's a great build. But you can do it.
I can do it.
And
Ever-
in certain situations,
it might work.
it might work.
But,
That's the beauty of the game. That's actually okay. Since we've talked about the beauty of the game, esports not honestly. Let's tackle the elephant in the room. A lot of people don't see it like as a competitive sport, like in the Olympics.
Yeah,
That's because they like, hey, what are you doing? You're just sitting down.
playing computer.
Yeah, but the beauty here is that esports is like mostly using your mind. There's some physical aspect, of course, that if you see, as you see our players typing really, really fast, yeah, that's something that we need to train, right? But in esports, most of the competition relies on the person's intellect, wisdom, knowledge.
It's intellect and reflex. And
reflex.
if you think about it in history, I mean, chess took a while for it to be
Exactly.
accepted. And eventually, esports will be accepted. And this is a really great way through SIBOL, through the SEA Games, that we do have esports into it. It's going to be an amazing time to actually get it into more of a mainstream appeal, especially with the just ending. People just liking that one with the big prize pool and all.
Yeah. I think that's a very good factor. But yeah, a lot of people are appreciating our sport more, and it's very fulfilling. So thank you guys. We hope you guys are loving what we're doing here.
It's great we're back in StarCraft though. Really the roots of esports right here. Alongside Quake, alongside all those old games.
Actually, speaking of which, there is a lot of history on that, which hopefully we'll be able to tackle if we have some time. But I think a second game is setting up. It's going to be Ender versus Siphon, so it's a Zerg versus Zerg game.
Mirror matchup, and this time let's see if Siphon can get his revenge. But I know you know a lot about our other player.
Oh,
boy.
Ender. Oh, maybe later when he's busy. Right now he can probably hear us. So, hi Ender, good luck. But also good luck to Siphon. Like, here's the thing. In StarCraft, there's matchups, right? Mirror matchups: Protoss versus Protoss, Terran versus Terran, and Zerg versus Zerg. I think there was a description of each matchup, and for Zerg versus Zerg, the feeling of fighting against a fellow Zerg is like a knife fight, because you're gonna be throwing out some stuff, some jabs, right? Some counters, and the Zerg units move really, really fast. So it's gonna be a fast game,
Maybe.
judging from, I don't know, the current meta.
And it's a little different. It's either a very fast game or it
Slow
goes
to- yeah.
all the way. It really depends. You either win with Zerg Bane and that's the show, or you transition to Roach Ravager and then you transition further into Swarm Hosted Fester, and it just gets really long. Apparently, the whole map gets covered with the purple.
That's actually personally, since I'm a Zerg, that's what I want to do. That's always that's how I paint my battlefield, like. Because some players, they just want to win, so they go to the fast route. Ling Bane, they go attack, kill their opponent. But me, I play defensively. Both our players, from what I've seen in the practice yesterday, they have their own styles. And they're particularly is pretty aggressive. So I think we'll be seeing early pools and then Zergling harass. Siphon, from what we saw earlier, he's pretty standard, to be honest.
Very meta. You can see that he
Yes,
really
exactly.
transitions to meta builds. He relies on these builds, especially like we saw on Roach Ravager a while ago. But I guess it's time to get into our second match of the night. And this time, it's going to be a ZVZ. This time, also going to be on Acropolis for our first map again. And it is going to be the blue Zerg, Siphon on the bottom right, and on the top left, we got Ender on that red Zerg. And I know you have so much to say about our red Zerg player.
But first of all, I just want to comment that, yeah, for some reason, Acropolis, you mentioned earlier, is one of the older maps. So I think that's why people are more comfortable with it. We discussed earlier that each of the maps in StarCraft change, and it has its own intricacies. So I'm seeing a lot of favoritism for Acropolis because it's a bit more simple. Like, hey, there's a big space, let's fight there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, should be very interesting. for our players to see how they can manage to use the map to their advantage.
All about those ramps, all about that high ground, and I really expect Acropolis and Thunderbird as well to be chosen. We do have a map pool that
I really
coincides with
okay.
Ladder Pool. What's up?
You pointed this out, but I didn't want to comment anything yet. I think this is just a scout, and he's going to be very, very annoyed. Here's the thing.
Oh no, he's
okay,
getting in the
let's
way.
do a quick analysis instead of they're going to be knowing on each other because what Ender's trying to do is he's distracting his opponent. Like, hey, no, can't do that. Nope, not today.
Basically, he's getting in the way,
He's delaying.
guys. No,
He's
there
delaying.
you go. There's the delay. So Siphon couldn't build up that second hatchery at any point in time because
Actually,
that was in the way. Yo.
Yeah, talk to me. What happened? Why is delaying the building so important in StarCraft?
It's very important because it messes up your opponent's build order. And especially for a player just like Saipem, he's very, very into the meta. So he really tries to follow the build orders, the timings to the letter. With Ender doing that, first and foremost, he's able to do other things in his base. The second thing is just distract the hatchery from coming on out. Doesn't allow that first cycle of eggs to be on time. Doesn't have that extra worker count in the first place. But anyway, Ender right now going to be backing on out, trying to get his hatchery available as well. But in the meantime, Saipem already ready with 4 Zerglings. But interesting, doesn't decide to attack. He might be a little afraid of what Ender has in store for him.
Actually, I saw the earlier spawning pool for Ender, and I'm confused as to why he didn't attack. I think he just saw that his opponent's going for a bit more economic build, and he said, yeah, I guess we can go eco. And now, since he distracted his opponent, as you saw, Siphon is more of a meta guy. He's not able to adapt faster, as quick as our Ender, who can do a lot of things, as you can see right now. I think he decided to do a little poke.
Yeah.
I don't think this is gonna, hurt our friend too much.
We'll see how this is gonna get microed. But Pool First allows you to do 2 things. You can also get a very quick queen to get more larva
Here we
or
go.
creep as quick as can be. But now we do see the dance of the Zerglings. It's like a mating call gone wild.
This is the knife fight, guys. If you think it's fast now, wait till you get the upgrades.
It's all about stabbing each other in the gut, and we'll see how the Zerglings are gonna work on that. But it seems like it's all about macro for both our players.
Yeah, Ender was trying to do some damage there, but just the sheer amount of Zergling Siphon pre-made, just in case, is just what the doctor needed. So Ender was forced to go back. These 2 queens, however, looking very exposed, but the Zerglings are keeping watch. They're saying, nope, you're not going to do anything except for this attack right here. Oh, his main is safe, but this expansion is suffering.
Suffering
Some deaths, some
so
deaths.
much damage done
It's
already, and that's really big hit for Ender, for Siphon rather, courtesy of
This is
Ender.
very.
But there's a bigger
I want
army
to see
coming.
what's going to happen here.
Here we go with the
nice
Knox.
wall in.
Oh, it's a great wall of Zerg buildings, and you rarely see this for a Zerg unless you feel that you are behind in terms of the army supply, and well done here by Ender right now. He's keeping the queens in the backline. The Evo Chambers are very, very cheap buildings as well to provide as a wall. And look at this guy microing his macro, building buildings left, right, and center. Now, roaches are out and about, and the range damage being done by the queens and the roaches is gonna be enough to fend the swarm off.
Okay, personally, I can see the value for that wall. If I'm laddering, I'll also do that because what's 125 minerals for not dying. Now, the consequence of that attack for Siphon is that he was able to attack. He saw the roaches, which is good, but unfortunately, he threw a lot into that attack. So many Zerglings, and they weren't able to do anything. Now that investment is going to be lying on the sand as the roaches come in. And as we know, roaches do pretty well in the early game. To be honest, they're not the best unit that scales for the late game, but for the early games, they're pretty strong. And with this amount, these Zerglings, well, they will be able to do some damage to them, but not as much as Siphon would really need for that kind of investment.
Yeah, he didn't put too much on the Zerglings, even went +1 on melee. Now, in the meantime, we have Ender blowing up one of the parts of the wall and puts the roaches instead. This
ready.
allows the red Zerg to actually come outside, but still protect his base if anything else happens. So a little bit of a calm before the storm. We are getting Spine Crawlers instead here for our blue Zerg. He knows he is a little behind right now because he put too much in this one basket that are the Zerglings, but he can transition into Banes or move into Lair Tech instead.
Actually, those spine rollers that we saw on his base pretty early, I don't think Ender will be attacking anytime soon because he's waiting for his upgrades. There's a timing for this, and roaches are pretty slow, as you can see. Okay, there we go. I'm eating my words again. What happens is, I guess Ender decided that, hey, I'm just gonna attack. The upgrade can wait.
No, you were completely right. He got his +1 range in time as he decided to transition. And now these roaches are going to pack a huge punch. The Overlords, though, do see everything coming. And Ender a little all-in into this one. He doesn't have any more gas in the bank. He
Okay.
will have only these roaches transitioning. The Spine
Needs to
Crawlers.
be surrounded.
Oh, the surround. It's a
Okay,
perfect
nice.
pincer. The Zerglings getting the choose. And it's a different matchup between our two compositions.
Wow, that's how
and
you do it.
Siphon now all around those roaches. Those four trying to huddle up and try to make an army out of themselves. But here come the reinforcements, and we will see the Spine Crawlers getting in position again.
Okay, that was very important. The surround is what allowed Siphon to survive that attack, actually, because if the roaches got their perfect, see that the arc,
The C.
the C.
I see
If
the
they
C.
got that perfect C, it would have been almost impossible for the Zerg to be able to defend that for Siphon. Rather. So now I like this. What he's doing.
Getting the upgrade, getting the timing, and getting the
Here we
screech.
go.
Here we go. It's a complete all-in right now from Ender. He's bringing everything. Queens, drones, turning
And
them
then
into
the
spore
drones.
crawlers. He's going to try to make this one
Wow.
happen. Interesting, he decides to build onto the anti-air instead. He might be expecting any Spire Tech, but the roaches are in a good position. The Queen going for the pokes as well, going for the gnaws. In the meantime, though, Ender not using the front line. He doesn't transition through another attack into the front, but he does know the Spine Crawlers are there, so he doesn't want to waste them. Now here we go with another funnel of roaches, and this main base is all but dead. Interesting still with the Spore Crawlers, but a GG is
GG
called,
bro.
and Ender takes our first map in his best of 3 in such amazing fashion.
That was very creative. You see, let's look at it.
My mind expanded there.
Okay, here's what happened, guys. When that building that came out, it's called a Nidus Worm. What essentially it does is like a highway to let your units go through anywhere through the map. Now, Ender saw that his opponent did not have creep or an overlord at that edge of the building. So he said, hey, yeah, if you're not defending this part of your base, maybe I can capitalize on it. So it's one of the things he saw an opportunity, he adapted to it. We know that the roaches, they walk really slow and they can't just go back compared to Zerglings. Because if Ender attacks with the roaches, Siphon can just, with his amount of Zerglings, that's a lot of scary Zerglings in the map, he can just go around, kill him from the back.
Yeah.
He knows that was a danger, so he's like, let's just skip the travel, let's skip the commute, build a Nidus Worm, send some of our roaches to be distractions in front of their base, and then move from the back. So instead of the one being backstabbed, Ender was the one who was able to backstab his opponent.
Backstabber got backstabbed.
Exactly.
It's so unfortunate. The Nidus Worm is a very noisy unit structure. It's both. It's a unit and a structure. It screams like, hi, I'm here. And I would love a Nidus Worm to get back home anytime soon while I go for the daily commutes. It's so tiring.
I'd be Zerg if we can use Nidus Worms. Like, skip the commute.
Basically, I'm
Can
go
you
home.
imagine? Can you imagine? But I'm so happy, like, Nidus Worms is it in the meta? I was not able
It's
to.
a transition. Like,
It's a
you go
transition.
into lair tech, but you feel like you can't exploit your opponent just like Ender saw. You go into Nidus because it doesn't allow you to build any other real units. So
From
when
what
you-
I remember, the cost did decrease.
Yeah,
a few
it's
patches
150 instead of
Yeah,
the old 200. And as I was saying, so if you're into Nidus Network, you can't get any tier 2 units at the same time. So you go for upgrades on your tier 1 units, which are the Roaches, the Zerglings, the Banelings, and even the Queens. And that is going to be your show. It's a little bit of on the aggression.
But
and
hold
speaking
that
of
thought.
the aggression,
I think we're on our next map. Okay, here we are. It's Thunderbird. Okay, honestly, this is going to be a very interesting map. This reminds me of Daybreak, I think.
yeah, it does. Same tile set. And I was saying a while ago, Thunderbird is the other map that did still stay in the map pool alongside Acropolis.
So these are very comfortable picks for our players.
Yes, they will, and they will really know how to play these ones out. But now our ZBZ, we'll see what they're going to be going for. We do get a pause though, a little bit of the lag in for both our players, but it seems like we are going for similar builds into the start of this game.
Okay, one interesting thing about Thunderbird is that it's not seen on the map, but hopefully we'll get to see its usage, is that there are some parts of it that's blocked by minerals. You know, traditionally in StarCraft II, we had rocks, right? We had ramps, rocks. But in the old Brood War days where the maps were not as flexible as it is now, the map creators had to be very creative, right? Instead of using destructible rocks, which we didn't have, they put minerals. Minerals, you can't destroy them. The only way for you to get rid of them is for you to gather them. But for you to be able to do that, you gotta send a worker, which is very telling for your opponent. If they see the worker, they know what you're gonna be doing. You're also losing a worker from the mineral line, so that's one less worker. It takes a bit of time.
They know where you're gonna go.
It's not a military investment, but having to open up those places of the map, it's an investment, but not a military investment. You are suffering from some economic damage, but you're opening up a lot of opportunities on the other side of the map.
I think another map does that as well. I believe World of Sleepers has that option where it's either you take the normal defensible blue mineral, you get the low ground rich one, or you take the one that is behind the mineral line that is all exhausted. It's just like 5 minerals, you send 1 worker in, but at the same time, if you are cheeky about it, you can just go for the drop play, put a drone, put a SCV, or float a command center on in, and there you go. That's your base now.
It's an easy expand, right? Not easy, but
you just have to create
it's also hard to scout things like that because your opponent naturally won't be able to go around. He's gonna see, oh, minerals, okay, it's blocked off. But if you're sneaky and you're able to do that, you're able to deceive your opponent, right? Because he's gonna, in StarCraft, Day 9 always said that there's a ton of 5 resources in StarCraft. I think minerals, gas, supply, attention, and information. Now, if you're able to dupe your opponent into one of those, that's already a road to victory. If your opponent is thinking, oh, he has 2 bases, but secretly, you have a 3rd base, you're gonna suddenly show up with a lot more army than your opponent would expect. And that's gonna, straight up kill him from time to time.
Mental fortitude, and really goes to show that this is just an expansion of the ideas of proxying. You put buildings outside their base, you put the building inside their base, those cheesy antics. And speaking of cheese, so let's talk about the different kinds of builds. So there's standard, which follows a set platform, it's set order, where you have certain compositions. But there's also something called the cheese. And that's really fun because of cheese, it's very all in.
Clarification, guys. The cheese in StarCraft is very different from the cheese in Dota.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The cheese in Dota heals you up, right? But in StarCraft, the cheese is
the most
when you sucker punch your opponent into victory.
It's surprise. They say it's a knife fight, right? No, you bring out the gun. It's like, here you go. So, if you can talk about some examples here for a Zerg versus Zerg. I
think we should explain the concept of the cheese first. It's not like widely known.
No,
so the concept of a cheese is a huge gamble. Basically, you go in through doing this very specific thing, in a very specific order, to do a very specific thing. Now, if at any point your opponent sees that, you're dead. You're absolutely dead. So it's a huge gamble, but sometimes it works, and if it does, it's very annoying because it feels like there's no way for you to actually counter it. Like, this game is broken. People have posted so many rants about it, but in StarCraft, it's just part of the game. You gotta live with it.
You feel like you're coming into a game to expect something of a more wider scale, and then you see buildings outside your base. It's like, what is this? What am I expecting? As I was gonna say, for ZVZ, the hatchery, the building that provides you as a structure point for minerals, for gas, and also for your units to come out. For Zerg versus Zerg cheese, you can put a hatchery in their base and then start building units in their base, and that is pretty much the shot.
I think we have a quick example for that in the last game. Like, as you saw, like Zerg, when Ender was attacking his opponents, Siphon, he built some buildings in his base. That's because Zerg can build in the creep, the brown thing that's been coming out of the ground. And for Zergs to be able to do that to other Zerg is very annoying. If he wanted to bolster his attack, instead of the anti-air building, he could have built spine crawlers, which would have helped attack his opponent. A lot of the cheesy things in Zerg needs that kind of thing. For example, like you said earlier, build a base in his base. Because in Zerg base, you can see obvious Zerg bias here, but it's just from experience.
Real Zerg player.
A lot of things that in the base don't have sight. Like your hatchery, it's there in the middle. It has pretty big sight, but some part of that creep, it can't see. It actually cannot see.
You not believe your eyes.
Yeah, it is very interesting. But, I think we have something very interesting going to be happening in a bit. So while we're waiting, I'd like to be able to throw it out to our courtside reporter. So, are they ready?
Take it away.
Take it away.
Thank you so much, guys. And nga kanina, I had a quick chat with the players before the game started. And nakausap ko si Siphon and si Ender as well. Now, with Siphon, I asked him, ano ba tingin niya with his opponent, Ender? And he says na he truly believes na Ender is the best player in the Philippines. Now, ang focus niya ngayon para sa mga matches niya and sa iba pang matches is improving himself throughout all the games. And yun lang ang nakikita niyang kanyang goal para sa tournament na ito o para sa SIBOL Combine is improving himself as a player and as an individual. Para naman kay Ender, data doesn't lie dahil Ender is actually one of the best players in the Philippines. He has a title under his name. Siya ang top 1 sa Southeast Asia during the WESG last year. And with Ender naman, nakausap ko siya throughout kung paano ba siya nagpa-practice o paano siya nagtitraining para sa kanyang SIBOL Combine tournament dito. And he says na after school, dumidiretso daw siya sa kanilang bootcamp para makapag-practice. No? So imagine balancing those things, ang time management talaga ang kailangan niya at ang importante para sa kanya. Now with Ender, after going to school, umuwi nga siya para pumupunta siya ng bootcamp rather para manood ng mga VODs, mga replays, at tinitignan niya kung saan siya pwede mag-improve pa as a player. Now that's it for my report. Back to you guys.
Okay, so
Ayo.
confession. We were trying to downplay yung lakas ni Ender.
Who's Ender?
Ender, he's some guy.
I heard about him.
He's like the best, like one of the best people in SEA.
Huh?
So we were trying to downplay him na, he's aight. But the truth is he's actually one of, as we said, the best players. He's the #1 player in the Philippines, for sure.
Bar none, honestly.
Bar none. Actually, to be honest, this is basically just a boss fight. All three players, Knox, Siphon, and Phoenix, is fighting against the one big boss, which is Ender. But I'm still hopeful for all our players because they were right. Ender does train a lot, a ton, but the other players do as well. For example, Knox, you haven't seen him yet. He hasn't had the fight, but he will be. He's also one of the people that has been competing in StarCraft II for such a long time. And from what I saw, like in the other, like yesterday, Knox might be able to take a game off of Ender. But we will see, because right now, we're back.
And
We are back.
Still into Thunderbird, and drones coming on out. Pretty much the standard stuff.
I can say it now. This is a scout drone.
It's like, hi, I have a gift for you. I have minerals.
Take this.
Hot potato.
He sees that, again, this is going to be very... Okay,
Same thing.
very, very annoying.
It's
It's
the
going to be very
same
annoying.
thing.
This time, though, he has a gift, so it's not as annoying. But still, he's being very, very disruptive.
I don't think he can take the gift though. But yeah, it's the hatchery getting bothered, and in the meantime, there is gonna be the Zerglings coming on out there from Ender, and Siphon gonna be delayed in his build. He went for pool first, gonna get those Zerglings out and about, but the hatchery a little later than he would like. And Ender, honestly, as we were saying before, really the big boss, the main boss of the stage of the Combine.
If anything, actually, our players should be taking, build orders from this game so that they can enrich their own stuff.
Yeah, just copy it out.
Interesting. Wow. Wow.
Well, let's see those tier 1 units just skulking around. I wonder who's gonna go for the first attack. It really seems like in a mirror matchup, it's who acts first,
honestly,
who does get it.
I think that Siphon expected the annoying harass, so he made room for this. Because he knows he's gonna be delayed, so might as well use that money for something, right? Now Ender, he's just gonna he's barely have enough to counter this now, so hopefully it won't, but
yeah,
no, he will not be able to kill this hatchery now. 2 queens range, tough mamas. The Zerglings will have to return, otherwise they'll be, they're gonna be dying for no reason whatsoever. And now Ender has his own pair of Zerglings, so there's gonna be a knife fight in the middle of the map any minute now.
It doesn't even matter that they're off creep because it's just very, very big units compared to the small skirmishers, honestly, you would say, about the Zerglings. But now we are going to see Ender trying to play the same game. He does have a lot more minerals in the bank. Worker count almost at the 10 in the advantage, but look at that. We're seeing a little bit of some tech here from Siphon going for the transition, and this is something completely new from our player.
Weird. It's very weird because there's only specific reasons why we would do that in the early game. But Zerglings coming in, trying to spot. Is he gonna see?
Oh,
I think he just saw both gases, so he knows something is up. Why is this guy making both gases? And I said in the last series, like if you're gonna go gas, you're gonna be doing a lot more tech stuff instead of just doing the normal tier 1, tier 2. Right? You're gonna rush your technology.
Yeah, and so he does spot out the lair as well. So he does know tier 2 is out and about. But the real question is, what is Siphon gonna do with it, and how will Ender respond? And now we are gonna see more of
this is the standard things. Actually, Ender knows what's gonna come, so he's gonna be preparing his defensive maneuvers. I think this is gonna come out in time. The Zerglings will be able to do some damage, but there we go. Queens are out, and these Zerglings again. At this point, these Zerglings are now a liability for Siphon. He spent a lot of time making them, and now he's not able to utilize them as much as he would like to. Maybe using them to do some aggression in the middle of the map, force Ender to not go out as much. But right now, he's gonna have to move pretty fast because time is running out. What's the current situation is that Siphon has a lot of army, but Ender does not. However, Ender has a lot of money, and eventually Ender will need to spend that. And if that happens, Siphon will find himself with a smaller army. So there's a shrinking window right now of what Siphon can do.
The big struggle right now, and we are getting upgrades for both of our players. The thing about Ender and his maneuvers is the fact that he is getting those buildings as potential walls. Now things do come on out, and at the same time we are getting a little bit of the plus action here for both of our sides. So with that lair tech though, what is it really gonna be going into? Is it only just for upgrades, or is it just gonna lead into something else? As look at that, APM going on to the highs. Both players are really showing their stuff, their metal. And we are going to get more
I want
things
to talk
coming
about
our way.
this. I want to talk about this, but not yet. You're right. He's going for a more tech-oriented build, and there's a 50-50 chance right now that this will work out for Siphon if he times it right. And I believe he will try to do so. Might be able to pick out these queens. These queens are very important to Ender right now because they're the backbone of his defense. He does have some army units behind them, but the queens themselves are going to be most of the tanks in this situation. But it looks like his reinforcement has come as Siphon coming in a little bit late.
Too many roaches here for Ender right now, and those queens trying to keep the creep spread going. So movement speed for both players going to be in action. And we will see the Overseer and the Overlord have a little bit of a conversation. They're having a convention of some sorts on a potential third there for Siphon. And he's just really trying to get as much scouting as he can, but if you can see his vision right now, he has no idea what's happening in Ender's main base.
But he does know that there's a lot of roaches coming in, so he knows there's a battle gonna go. It's gonna go down anytime soon as Ender is, as I've said earlier, he has a lot of money, and there's gonna be a time where he needs to spend that money, and he has. So he's brought the big boys coming in, and Siphon is going to need to defend really, really well.
He has to play with his building stones. The spine crawlers need to come on out. The roaches is going to try to go for the pokes, but no, the spine crawlers are out and about. And they're going to go out of the range of those buildings. So Siphon living to fight another day
now.
For now.
The question is, who's going to make the Ravager first? Is it going to be Ender, or is it going to be Siphon?
This is going to be volleyball here from our two players.
I'm
Bile versus Bile.
Volleyball game. Huh.
Overseer and Overlord still having conversation. They have been staying there for some time.
They're not really enemies. They're just, hey, what's up, man?
I'm here. I can make units. You can't. You can bring people. But speaking of bringing people...
Speaking of bringing people,
the
there
Ravagers.
We go. There's the Ravagers.
So this is an interesting conundrum here. Who will win it out? Roaches and Ravagers. The Corrosive Bile needs to be big. And Ender going to be going out of its range. But now the Corrosive Bile going to be into the front. And Ender again sidesteps with magnificent.
This is more of a dodgeball than volleyball. As Ender just ignores the Ravager tech. He's like, no, I'm just going to straight up outswarm you with my roaches.
And the roaches are quite heftier than the Ravagers.
Nice focus fire on the spine crawlers there, denying Siphon of his defensive line. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to be enough for Siphon as Ender just pushes in.
Yeah, Ender has the tide of reinforcements, has minerals and gas on his side, and has everything in the back. He's trying to go for the pokes, just has taken care of the army already. And Siphon might be forced to tap out here and now. Drones are going to get pulled. It's a worker revolution trying to keep it up. But look at that step action there from Ender, showing his micro skills as much as possible. The few roaches trying to stay alive. Here we go with this round again, and this is just never ending here from Ender. It's not going to stop, won't stop, can't stop, will not stop popping. And the drones right now trying their luck, even giving a present of some Bespin gas. But it seems like it's not going to be the case. And Ender right now so ahead. What can Siphon even do?
Okay, sometimes, you know, technology is very important. He does have that second upgrade for the range, the +2. But just having more stuff allows you to do a lot in StarCraft. It's for anyone who's new, for any one of our players in StarCraft II who's new and trying to get into the game, the tip that we can give is just build more stuff. Building more stuff can get you as high as gold if you're ranking. Because at some point, people are going to be trying crazy stuff. Like, I want to build a battlecruiser. So, hey, okay. Here's like 50 Zerglings. Die. So, yeah. As we saw, that's a perfect example of technology versus numbers. Siphon went with, I want each of my soldiers to be super strong. But Ender's like, I'm just going to get more soldiers. And since we talked about it earlier, Ender being like the huge guy in StarCraft, Southeast Asia, his ability to macro, that means like being able to build stuff, get to the army that you need faster, is a bit, you know, higher than our normal players. Siphon is not bad. He's like a Masters player, so he knows his thing. It's just that Ender has been practicing his builds so well, and he knows the intricacies of his race. So he's able to squeeze out maybe 1, 2, 3 more roaches than his opponent, and that's just what you need to kill out your opponent.
Lots of hard work and dedication. And a very basic tip for StarCraft 2 is if you have money in the bank, spend it. Spend it. Money is nothing if you just die with it. You can't invest into a future game. It's just like any kind of moment. It's just like Dota. You don't bring the items in, you don't bring the gold in. You gotta make it happen. We'll be back, guys. So we're gonna be sending you guys to courtside once again with Eliza Taylor.
Take it away, Taylor.
Thank you so much, guys. Ayan, ngayon kasama ko si Siphon. Kakatapos lang ng kanilang laro. And naririnig natin marami siyang fans dito, no? So, kamusta ka naman?
Okay naman kahit na natalo ko. I really enjoyed the tournament.
Alright. And gusto ko lang tanungin, paano ka ba nagtitraining? Paano ka nagpa-practice? Gano'ng kadaming oras? Yung ginugugol mo sa pagpa-practice? Paano yun?
So, pag nagtitraining ako, I usually play 2 games, then break. Then again, 2 games. But since I win the qualifiers, ang ginagawa ko ay in-up ko yung pagtitraining ko sa may goal ako. Ang goal ko is 15 games a day.
Oh, alright. Meron ka talagang goal na itong games na to, dapat mabuo ko to sa isang araw.
Yes, yun yung goal ko.
Alright. And right now, gusto ko lang din tanungin sa mga nangyari sa previous match mo, ayun, with Ender. Ano sa tingin mo yung nangyari?
Well, I'm not really used doing timing attacks like that and cheese. I'm really a macro player. But since I cannot bring it in a macro game against Ender, so that's why I gamble. I did some timing attacks na. Unfortunately, na-scout niya kasi yung sa second game yung roach timing attack ko. So I think kaya nakapag-respond siya ng maganda.
Well, what do you think, ano bang gagawin mong ano yung next step mo para ma-improve mo yung nangyari sa game na ito?
Well, I think I have to watch replays and play more and I have to watch more streams.
Spend more hours watching VODs talaga and replays. And finally, any message right there sa mga fans ng esports o sa mga gusto pumasok ng esports professionally? Anong gusto mo sabihin sa kanila?
Well, kung gusto nyo mag-pursue ng maging professional gamer, wala namang problema. Just make sure that this is really your passion before you pursue professional gaming career.
Maraming salamat, Siphon. Well said. Well, that's it for my interview. Babalik ko na kayo sa ating mga shoutcasters, Dax and Arcantil. Take it away.
Alright, so, yun nga, sinasabi niya it was about timing attacks, right? So, funny story, as I was actually reviewing their matches before came here, there was one game na si Phoenix, he almost took it out. He almost took out Ender at a game
Why is
using his battlecruiser timing. It was so good. Parang, nung pinapanood ko siya, gusto kong sumigaw dun sa laptop like, hey, yeah, let's go. Pero, you know, getting your opponent caught off guard is such a huge part of StarCraft II. What I'm trying to say is that, you know, nakakachamba ka eh. Like, you can get a game off to offender. Like, I think some of our older friends have been able to do that naman. And
Vulnerable.
each of our players have their own quirks and they have their own weaknesses. So, yun nga, ang nangyari dun sa game na yun essentially is that si Phoenix, he was able to hide the battlecruisers really, really well, and he was able to force Ender to do like anti-ground unit composition. What happened was, when the battlecruisers came out, wala anti-air si Ender, and that almost killed him. It was so close.
Scouting wasn't there, and it really coincides with just when you get those buildings, when you get your structures out, you immediately get enough resources to build the unit that corresponds with it.
Exactly.
But it seems like we are going to get into our next series, and who's that going to be, Arcantil?
I think our next game is going to be interesting. It's going to be Knox versus Phoenix.
Oh, I'm very interested in that.
So, let's get on the game.
So, we're going to see Phoenix again. He's on that Terran.
I think I was mistaken. It's Ender versus Phoenix.
Oh, it's
surprise!
surprise.
So here's what's going to happen. I saw the game where Ender almost lost to Phoenix.
Dude, your transition
I want
is
to be
perfect.
able to see that here
I
in
think
the combine.
But I think Ender is expecting this to come because battlecruiser rushes, battlecruiser timings are really something you have to scout
Very
for.
specific,
So,
yes.
so what Phoenix can do is play more to his style and just keep Ender on his toes. But let's introduce our players in the map. Here on the top left, we got Phoenix on that red Terran. In the meantime, on the bottom right, we got Ender on the blue Zerg.
Now here in Thunderbird, you're correct. Like, Ender would expect something like that from Phoenix because from their practice, it has almost always been battlecruiser rushes. But as I've said earlier, if you do something repeatedly for enough times, you're going to be able to, you know, polish it to a shining sheen. And from what I can see from his previous games, Phoenix is, you know, his timing for battlecruisers is really well. He's able to adapt if he needs to delay or increase, like, get it out as faster than he can. But we'll see. This is Ender that he's fighting, right?
As a Terran, you always go for that 1-1-1 eventually. And it really goes to show with Phoenix's tendency to go into mech, he is always ready to jump into starport sec. But we'll see if he's going to do the same thing into this game. Going for scouting, trying to see what is going on. Hatchery first. No, it's pool first, actually. Here for Ender, wants to get a quicker queen, wants to get some Zerglings as well.
Ooh.
So the Zerg going to be a little behind in the macro, going to be more even with the Terran in this situation.
Yeah, actually, this is a... I think, is this meta? This is a very safe starter for Ender. I think he's paying some respects to his opponent because usually if you know you're going to win anyway, you're going to be doing super greedy stuff. But as you say, Ender went for pool first, so he's probably going to be doing some, as you can see earlier, scouting.
Yeah. Zerg openings do coincide into two. You either go into pool first or hatchery first. It really goes to show what you want to focus on into the game. Hatchery first does include more greedy builds, but might get punished, especially by Reapers from the Terran. And speaking of the Terran right now, trying to get to that second base, a cardinal rule of thumb for any Zerg player, you want to be at least one base ahead of your opponent. You want to keep that macro up, you want to keep the swarm into a swarm, and keep that side of reinforcements to keep on going against your opponent.
Weird. Oh, no, it's not weird. Sorry. It's not weird. Phoenix saw the pool first, I think. That's why he's keeping his Reaper back. He knows that's going to be Zerglings coming in. Because I was wondering why he wasn't sending it as a scout, right? So he knows that Lings are coming. He's going to be able to defend them. But I think Ender is building his next base. He's building his next base. So you're right. You got to always stay one base ahead of your opponent as a Zerg. That's like the golden ratio. You're always +1 because as a Zerg, your units are cheaper, but they're also easier to kill. So speaking of killing things, here we go.
That's actually a big hit. Phoenix losing the mule of all things. You spend 50 energy and they get a lot of minerals. The Reaper in the meantime going for the approach. Doesn't get anything with the cluster bomb. And look at that. We do have the wings there from our Zergling, so it does go to show that he has that movement speed. And something that Phoenix did see was not the pool, but he saw the later hatchery. So he's like expecting, okay, more units are coming his way.
You are correct. I was wondering, like, did he? I'm not sure if he scouted. Okay, it was the later hatchery, so he knows that he didn't go economy. But Lings are being fast now, so let's see what they can do. But I think what's gonna happen is that he probably will just skip the front door. I'm thinking. Is this possible? Oh no, he just sent the Overlord out. So he's scouting, he's trying to see, oh, where can we see? Except there's a Viking. I think this is the first time I saw him.
So Vikings are very useful in TVZ, but only at one time, big time kind of thing.
Yep.
So you use the Viking to take care of Overlords and that's it. That's the show. Vikings are a terrible unit right now in the meta, which is unfortunate because they're very flexible.
And
but
they're cool, man.
they're cool. They're Transformers, just like the Hellions right here. So it goes to show that they're just not
Zerglings
parts
coming in. Let's see what's gonna happen.
of the show. But yeah, here we go with the Zerglings, going for the SCV first. This Great Wall of Supply Depots not yet ready, so the Huns can invade at any time. But
They know it's open.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna talk about that supply depot once it's up, because you know it's a very contentious topic for
It's
me.
a big investment. Like, we can talk about it right now. He already saw half of it. It's a big mineral gamble to build up a wall.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You don't need the supply wall.
You know,
What
he
you
always
need, you just need better building placements. Speaking of which, those
better placements right
better
there.
placement.
The Hellions needed to be in the better
There we go.
place, but this is different.
Is that a-
What is this? This is a smaller structure. I don't think this is a command center. I'm not very sure.
No, it's too small for a command
Man,
center.
might
It's probably.
be a factory, perhaps, or an armory.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But speaking of building things
no.
on the production
Oh, I
tab,
think-
we can see the favorite is gonna come out.
Oh, I think I might be
Really
mistaken.
soon.
I think that might be a CC. We'll see what our scans are going to pick up here for
think
Phoenix. He's
That
running
scan
around.
was, I don't know, not the best. He
Not
could have scanned the third to see if his opponent has a third. He already knows that he was gonna expand anyway. But that's just me. Okay, Zerglings for Ender is being very active. They know that drops might happen. Phoenix has been known to do some drops, even though he's, mech.
It's a transition. 1-1-1 and then build whatever kind of building you want. It's like you start with one structure of each and you decide, this is the structure I like the best. This is what I want to build SimCity with. And you either go for bio with the barracks, mech with the
Ooh,
factory,
wow.
or you
You
go
see
for
that?
all the air.
You see that? Ender has like a sixth sense.
He's waiting.
He knows. He knows what's gonna come.
This is very
He's
important
prepared.
positionings here for Ender, actually. He's keeping the north and the south sides, trying to see if there is going to be any kind of drop play in the first place. But Ender right now seeing the Hellions instead, going for the Brawl, the Viking, just going for the scouting as well. And we are going to get a reset.
Oh,
We
it
did
is a
see
CC. There we go.
CC.
There it is.
Now,
There's
there's one question. I have one question. Is that an orbital command or is it going to be the PF? If it is an orbital command, this is
It
for a
is.
third.
It's an
Yes.
OC. It's an OC. He'll eventually use it to expand, which is great. Fortunately, Ender has other plans.
Might be something you wouldn't really expect.
Oh, there's a
from
scan on the third.
the Zerg.
Let's see if he's gonna. No, not yet.
The Roaches, though, marching on in.
yet.
The Battlecruiser gets spotted, and it is gonna be Phoenix exposing his hand early. The Magician revealing his trick already at the start. And then there will be responding in a kind. But in the
Wow.
meantime, we are gonna get a few new units here for our two players. We'll see what they're both gonna be building into this one. But we do see the bulk just waiting on the outside. Upgrades coming away of both sides.
I love the instant, reaction for Ender. As he saw the Battlecruiser, immediately goes for the thing here. And he'll be able to... Actually, that's how he won the last game. He was able to buy enough time to build the Spire. And that will allow him to counter the Battlecruiser. So right now, Phoenix is in a timer. He knows that Ender knows he has a Battlecruiser. And he should probably use it before time runs out. But Ender is just... This is buying time.
Ender's gonna do
He's
something
gonna buy
else.
time.
He's not
He's
just
like-
gonna buy time. He's gonna be the most annoying kind of Zerg in the world. The Overlord is positioned and he's gonna drop down some Zerglings. This isn't as explosive as the Banelings, but they will force the SCVs off the line. EPM going crazy right now for both our players, but Hellion's gonna be in position. The Cyclones will be exposed. And Oda is so unfortunate because Blue Flame comes up as soon as
Nice.
the Zerglings are there. So it is immediately scouted as well. That is unfortunate.
You were right. The Cyclone can move while firing except as a unit. Oh, here we go. Queens, slower heal. So they have to be more mindful of their tanking power, especially now that there's a Cyclone in the mix.
Yeah, and the Cyclones will be exposing something else as soon as Ender notices that they are in the front line, so upgrades are ready to go. In the meantime, Phoenix with the tactical warp onto the main base, gonna get fended off by the Queen in the first place. They really go with the Spore Crawlers. Whenever you see any kind of air units, or when you're expecting any kind of air from your opponents,
He knew. He got a couple of Queens. Oh, but the Hellions coming in, doing the damage.
good positioning from the Hellions going for the surround, but the Queens are quite tanky against these. And it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. The Cyclones instead doing the DPS that is necessary. The Corruptors are in the air. And this might be Phoenix pulling the bait and switch. He went into mech when Ender was expecting the air instead. So a little bit of reversal of fortunes for both our players. But in the meantime, it's a base race of epic proportions. The third base getting taken down. The Roaches are out in front. And workers are dying left, right, and center. The supply depot they hate so much is getting taken down as well. And who will actually win this out? Both sides looking precarious.
This is very hot right now. He does have the Battlecruiser, but Ender just has a lot more forces to be able to go through his base. He's gonna need to pull back. One of them is gonna need to pull back, and it looks like it's Phoenix. Really? Oh,
Yeah, the
okay.
Roaches.
It's like they're stabilizing. The Cyclones are back, but there's a huge amount of Roaches in here. If they get cornered, it's going to be very bad news for our Terran player. Unfortunately, it looks like it's happening. Ender, with his forces, he's going to march straight up. He needs those Hellbats.
Oh, supply depot doesn't go up in time, and the Roaches are inside. It's an infestation of epic proportions, and this has
Siege
to be it.
tanks going off behind,
Phoenix
Will
is
it be
so
enough?
behind, though. The siege tank trying to get
No, they're
damage
too
done.
far. They're too far. Siege tanks are too far.
They're trying to hide behind the factories, but I don't think it's going to work. The Corruptors as well, taking care of any things that uplift themselves. Missile attack coming into the +2,
Oh,
and
there's
GG
GG.
is called.
Oh,
Ender
wow.
taking that one by storm, but that was as close as can be.
It was so good. As I said, his ability to have this signature strat, I think it played a lot into that game. Him almost beating Ender, because Ender knows that, if it's Phoenix, he's gonna make some Battlecruisers. And he saw his beliefs, oh, there's a Battlecruiser, of course it's Phoenix. But he didn't know that Phoenix was also investing in his ground army, which was Cyclones and Hellions. Right?
They've done Hellbat, so it's the same thing.
If only, maybe if he had an armory, because Hellbats would have
did have
fared
an
well.
I thought he had
against
an
him.
armory.
He did transform.
The big issue though is he won't have anything to heal. He didn't really invest
That's
into
true.
medivacs, and the Roaches came from Ender. He was just one step ahead in that last engagement. You could see he immediately teched up into Roaches again. He saw too much mech coming his way. He went for the base race. The Battlecruiser, even though it was very strong against workers, was getting fended off by Queens. So unfortunate with a little bit of the natural advantage as well of the Zerg to reinforce. And that was the show. Good thinking from Phoenix, but it just isn't enough to beat Ender at
true.
this game.
Now you're right. What happened was the sheer amount of units coming in from Ender. What happened was he was a base ahead, so he had more money to throw out more stuff to his opponent. So it's math. If you have more stuff, you can kill off your opponent fast.
10 is
So-
bigger than 1.
Yeah, exactly.
I learned that in grade school.
That's amazing. Thank you. All right. Speaking of amazing, I think we're going to be going into our second game any minute now. So I wish Phoenix luck. He might be able to close out one game maybe from Ender tonight.
He might be the one that can make the God bleed, because at the same time, he's the one who's different from everyone else. He's the one who's on Terran. And this really goes to show that Ender has to change up his playstyle, especially in the matchup. But speaking of the matchup, let's get it on, let's get it done. Acropolis will be map number 2. We're seeing the same maps from our players. I believe they were given...
Again, very comfortable picks for
They
our
were given
players. They're
the
like, hey,
opportunity to
yeah,
choose,
we'll just-
right?
Yeah, I believe so. That StarCraft has a couple of maps, but hey, if you know a map more, you'll probably choose that most of the time. So Acropolis, again, the 2019 Metalopolis. Very interesting. Let's see if Phoenix can, do another pocket strategy for Ender. Because again, this is like a big boss fight.
It is. It's
Ender's like the big boss. Hey,
He-
take your pot shots at me,
What?
humans.
We can actually talk about why we hype up Ender so much. In the StarCraft scene, there is something called WCS, and it is the international field for our players. So when you can actually qualify for that, you play against the best of the best, and Ender has reached that pinnacle, facing off against the #1s all over the world. This time though, he did a little falter in the regionals, but he is gearing up to showcase us in the SEA Games if he does make it through the Combine.
If anyone, can make a god bleed. It's one of their own kind.
Maybe.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We see it in any kind of game, honestly. Dota, we see it in Mobile Legends, we see it in AOV, we see it everywhere. We know how to play against each other
Exactly.
because it's our play style, it's our identity. And how cheeky is this gonna be? We'll see.
I don't know. I
Okay.
wanted to talk about it, but spoilers.
Not yet.
Should
Not
be
yet.
fun, though.
It's not the SCV though.
And
Gonna
he
get
does
followed
go for the expansion, so
and standard stuff, and it
is
is.
gonna be very, very
Where the
annoying.
SCV? The SCV has to be
Does he know?
careful.
Okay, pretty sure he spots that.
The Overlord
He knows
does
it's
have
coming.
the vision.
He knows it's coming.
He sees 3
knows
SCVs
it's
and 2 Marines bunched up. Why are they there? Why are they there
Is
right
he gonna
here?
react? Is he gonna cancel the
Right now.
expansion? Is
This-
he feeling confident? That's what I want to know.
This is too early.
Why are you waiting?
This is too early. Oh,
Stuart.
Phoenix doesn't want to go for it. He does not.
Why are you so afraid? Oh no, just do it. You're taking too much time. And
And-
now, he knows.
Oh no, he knows.
knows, he
so
knows.
basically, he sees that there is no barracks in the base. Ender will know. He will immediately
There's the cancel.
cancel.
There's the cancel.
And this is going to be some cheese here from Phoenix. He is going for the bunker rush, but this rush has been stuck in line for too long, maybe.
He waited too long.
And this is he just
We don't know. Let's see if there's some damage that can be done.
Marines.
SCV's coming in. They will be building a bunker. The Marines are hitting that queen really, really well. Roaches are gonna spawn really, really soon, though.
The Zerglings are actually committed into the
There's
main
the
base.
pull, there's
And
the
it's
pull.
perfectly timed here by Ender. He's going to go for the run on by
Oh.
instead. It's time to go for the surround.
Surround.
The Roaches are there as well. And Phoenix, the cheese is looking stinky into this one. It was way too early. There's the cancel already. And without the barracks in the main base, Ender is just going ham after that one. Does lose out all the Zerglings after a good surrounder from Phoenix. But Roach is already into play here for our blue Zerg. And Phoenix just so behind. Gonna go for the salvage. This is very difficult for...
That was not the best. If you're gonna go for a cheesy build, you go immediately. You don't wait. Like let the CV suffer in the base. They can survive 1 or 2, 4 Zerglings. But he waited too long for that. What happened was Ender was able to buy enough time to make the roaches. If the roaches were not there, he could have killed a lot more drones, and this would be a closer game. But right now, unfortunately, they are out, and the Ravagers are marching in. And we'll have to see how Phoenix will be defending this without his military units in the base.
Phoenix maybe feeling the jitters, a little bit of stage fright, also feeling unconfident after that last game. And now Corrosive Bile, very, very strong against stationary targets. Gonna penetrate into the base. There we go. The orange, the group all over the barracks, all over the supply depots as well. And it's just so unfortunate for Phoenix. He can't really do much. He will send a barracks into the main base, but this game is already over the moment he
I want to hype
hesitated.
it up, but it was basically dead when C didn't pull out the cheese.
Like, we were there. It was such a tease. We were like, oh, come on, just do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Run!
Just
All they
didn't
need
do
to
it.
was run.
So it's unfortunate, but Ender does take the series 2-0 as well. We've been seeing 2-0s today. We did have our 3 matches so far. We had Phoenix versus Siphon, Ender versus Siphon, and we also had Ender versus Phoenix, all ending in 2-0s to the respective winners.
Yeah, again, this big boss, Ender, he's refusing to bleed. Our talents need to step it up.
It's
We,
the time.
we do have one more guy. Yeah, Knox. We haven't seen him yet. And if anyone can make him bleed, it's Knox.
Been very, very rich history, especially between those two
Exactly.
players. They're very, we can say they're
Just to tell
rivalry.
you, just to tell you a story. Knox has been playing in StarCraft for just almost as long as Ender. And he's been competing with Ender in top tournaments. Right? So he knows his ways. And from what I saw from yesterday, it's not like I'm hyping him up, but he's like maybe 1 or 2 points away from being Ender. Like, he knows how to move, he knows the movement. It's just that Ender just has that little extra. But I believe that Knox later on will be, able to make Ender bleed. I think it's gonna be very exciting to see. But for now, we gotta give it to Phoenix. What he did was very cheesy, and most of the StarCraft players probably would disagree. But cheese is part of the game, and it makes it very exciting because, 3 racks that near, it could have worked too if you just
Committed.
did not hesitate.
Just had to
You
go.
Don't hesitate when you're going for a cheese. You're already, on a clock. You gotta move fast. The Marines are there, the SCVs is there. Just go up. I'm not sure what happened there. Probably you were right.
Stage
Probably
fright.
yeah, stage
Jitters.
fright,
It has to be
maybe.
jitters because he was really feeling that he was so confident, but then he noticed that he got
Like-
scouted out. But
No, if you got shouted out, that's even more reason,
just
right?
go for it. It's time. It's time to go. You already did it. You're gonna lose if you don't.
He
And
saw it.
There
Just
you go.
might as
Damn
well
it. You damn it don't. It
do it
just
next.
doesn't happen for our Terran player. But it was a good try. I love that first game especially. A little bit of the mind game, swapping over to the mech from the air.
I do love how, Ender handled that cheese though. He sent in his drones. You would think that he would be making them run away so that they'll save, so that they'll have some money, but no. He actually used the drones as a wall to ensure that no Marine goes home to defend. He's like, no survivors. You're all gonna stay here forever. And exactly. And him being able to do that directly contributed to, Phoenix's inability to actually defend his base. Right?
Yeah.
So since all of his units is already dead and his barracks is like on the other side of the map, no way he could defend that base. So that's actually the end of the game there. The rest is just dressing.
Hopefully he can pick it up as he is going to be into our next series. It's going to be Knox versus Phoenix for our next
Here we
match.
go,
It's
finally.
time to see a little bit of the hype you've been bringing on. And I do have my
Totally.
own Knox story, honestly.
Oh,
back
really?
in the day, all the way back in 2011, we were kind of related in IRL, not as a family, but we are batchmates basically.
Really?
Yeah, batchmates from high school. So he invited me to play some StarCraft. I thought it was just some chill stuff. So I was just messing around, making a base full of cannons on
then
Protoss.
drops you like 1 million
And then
Zerg.
apparently, I come out of my first base, because it wasn't as popular to go for the expansion immediately in Wings of Liberty. I see creep. I was like, why is there creep here already? And then
Wow.
a lot of Zerglings come out, and I'm just like, this guy is for real. And
This
I
guy.
just hear him, rise up the ranks, really put a showcase in the StarCraft PH scene, compete in tournaments, and the rest is history.
This directly, contradicts what I know about Knox. Knox is such a nice guy. He's quiet, he's fun, but apparently he's also a douchebag.
No,
Don't
no.
do that. You don't invite like a newbie and then make a base near his base.
I didn't expect it, okay? I thought we were just gonna chill.
Nah.
We're gonna play tower defense, but no. And I was just like, I just didn't play anymore. So I'm just like,
Aw.
okay. But I did play.
I thought that was gonna be a story of how you got into
No.
StarCraft.
The funny thing is he got all the way to where he is right now. But then I was like, okay, might as well pick it up again. I picked it up like halfway into Heart of the Swarm coming out, so that was my time for playing.
I see,
I just
I
never
see.
really got into playing, but I still love the game because I've been playing StarCraft 1. I've been watching all
really?
the esports, so I'm casting for the community lately as well with what I usually do in the first place. And now I think it's time. We've been talking about the guy, we've been talking about the matchup, and we are going to see TVZ again. Knox versus Phoenix. Hopefully Phoenix can bounce back from the mental anguish he just suffered.
This is, if any of the matches is gonna be close, I think it's this one. So yeah, here we are in Acropolis again. The favorite maps of our players. On the lower right corner, we do have Phoenix, and on the upper left, we have Knox. So finally, Knox is here.
It's nice.
Is our boy.
Bell of the ball right here.
If Ender is like the big boss, Knox is more of the prince.
I think he's
he's
like
a hopeful.
he's the hero basically.
He's a
He's the
hopefully God Slayer
yeah,
later.
yeah, he's
but
the-
right now he's grinding his levels from the, other people.
gotta
on
kill the
his level.
slimes. Gotta kill all the
Yeah, you're the one who said it, not me, man.
not them. They're not the slimes, guys. These are the
The-
bosses.
yeah,
these are the generals of the Demon
Exactly,
Lord right
they're-
now. Both
they're
Phoenix
general
as well
slimes.
as Siphon. He's been grinding the slimes. He's been grinding the ladder. He's been grinding all those quests, trying to get better, to be the best Zerg that he can be. But now it's time to see if he will be able to do so. Because Knox on that blue Zerg gonna be playing some standard Phoenix as well. Will we see what we expect from our Red Terran?
Yeah, battle cruisers. Let's
1
be
minute
real.
battle cruisers.
Let's
Come
be
on,
real.
man.
It's Phoenix. Let's be real. He's our boy, but he's gonna go for battle cruisers, unless he goes for 3 racks. But Knox, he's like a rough ender, right? He has the huge potential to burst out and become one of the talents of Southeast Asia. It just hasn't yet. So this is a more balanced matchup, to be honest. And I think we'll see pretty long game. Both our players intending not to be cheesy and going for more economic builds.
I do want to see a macro engagement between
Yes,
our players. We
please,
haven't really
yes,
seen a
please.
big 150 to 200 supply. So in StarCraft II, guys, in the maximum army range you can make is 200, and usually you get the biggest and brightest battles with a little bit of drops, a little bit of some cheeky plays on the side. But now it seems like we are gearing up for a longer game unless someone really slips
I
the
do
pooch.
hope so, because current meta stays that we also just go for
10,
early to mid game.
15.
If you get the tempo, you're dead. But I really want to see some big battles. If there's any like matchup here that's gonna go that far, it's this one. But yeah, Knox has spotted the Destiny Cloudfist build from our Terran. The 111, of course. It's a really old nickname.
It's standard. You need every building to build everything else.
Exactly.
It's
You can't
really the
get
backbone.
those battle cruisers if you don't have a factory.
You need cement first before you can build any kind of building. Doesn't matter what it is. But yeah, the Overlord getting the vision sees pretty much the
he
same,
sees
same
the
old,
two
same
gap.
old.
Oh, no.
Does he
He's
want
not
the
sure
gas?
yet, but I think he has assumed.
Well, the 3-minute mark, he should expect at least 2 gas to be something that is in the cards.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we are going to get some mules as well. Helping out that expansion. Mules, very, very good units for the Terran. Quickly getting minerals.
Some would actually say too good.
OP mules.
OP mules. Yeah, right. You don't even need SCVs. Just a couple of command centers, and you're good. You're fine.
It's really
you got
sad.
mules. You're fine.
It's really sad, honestly, because when normal command, it provides 3 things. You can get mules, you can get extra supply, or you can get
never
a scan.
guys. Never get extra supply. It's
No,
always
exactly. That's the point. You say you never get extra supply. Scans can get wasted. Why? Because mules are just too good.
Just get mules.
They're the
Just get
best.
mules.
They're the best. Who needs some
If your
information?
Zerg and all your drones die, your drones are dead. If your Terran and your SCVs die, you got mules, man. You got mules.
It's time to make it rain.
And if you're Protoss, you're just workers. They just don't die because your
Yeah.
opponent's dead.
True.
Anyway,
OP.
coming in,
OP talk. OP
Knox
talk.
with
Why
his
is there
gap.
no Protoss in this, huh?
he does spot the second gas for sure. He
Yeah,
knows.
he
There's
knows
the
it's coming.
starport. There's the tech lab, and I think he knows this is coming.
He should expect it, and he should just react accordingly. Any Zerg player, when they see the starport, should put up some spore crawlers in the bases. And we are going to see the standard Viking flying on around to take care of the Overlords. But look at that. Researchers coming our way for both our players. All about the tech. And this might be a big gun coming their way. Oh, the
There we go.
Overlord!
Hello.
Finally, this is literally the plan in action. This is the way to counter it. Knox
Just
getting...
see it.
Gets,
Just see it.
gets sightlines, sees
see
the
it.
fusion core, sees it even going up and down. When a building is doing something in animation, it means they're doing something.
They're researching.
Yeah.
It's not just standing there. There's a difference between a building just existing and actually working. So he knows that something is being upgraded. Doesn't know what.
What else could it be?
Although we do know. We just can't.
Okay. What else
it's
could
right
be?
there. The
What?
yellow thing.
It's the big bad gun.
Should be fun either way. Now that Knox knows this, the question is how he will handle. Because usually, what you do when you see that kind is you just go straight up make corruptors, right? Corruptors are really good against armored units. And since a battle cruiser is one unit that's very expensive, has really high armor, you'd naturally go for corruptors. But we'll see on how Knox will decide to take on this challenge. Because right now he does have a lot of ground units. So maybe he's just not going to let his opponent get that far.
There's a lot of
Maybe.
options though for the Zerg. They can mass up on Queens. They can go into Hydra as well. Corruptors is the best. At the
But
same time,
it's
you
not
need
the
that many.
only strategy, right?
If they only go for one battle cruiser, you only need a few queens and get some good transfusions
Exactly.
along the way. All about microing out your units.
And I love this. Again, as a Terran player, never engage in creep. Never.
Clean up the mess.
Clean it up. Clean it up.
Terran probably the janitor of the Kuprulu sector into this one. But we do get our upgrades coming on out for both of our players. They are getting really, really essential ones for their units, adding some DPS.
If I can finally talk about it.
Nice and easy.
Supply medieval wall.
Okay, go.
It's a
It's
bad
time.
investment. It's gonna go down really really fast because it's just gonna get focused fire.
Yeah.
You really should just use buildings. Look at this. Look at this. Oh, he's not even gonna. Oh, there's a battle cruiser though. Oh, nice defense. Okay, see, that's how you make the supply depots worth it. Just make a battle cruiser.
So they
Otherwise, it's a bad investment.
So we're just saying that
Here's the thing,
No,
okay.
no. You're saying that the supply depot wall works
If there's a battle cruiser.
No, if it doesn't work as a wall, but instead gets protected by something else.
Exactly. Here's the thing.
That's so smart.
You're either way, you're gonna have to build supply depots, right? But you need the supply depots because that's how you feed your army. That's how you get a better army. But if they're the ones in front, anytime your opponent attacks, he's gonna hit your food supply. And if you have an army, you don't want them to get hungry, right? So if you lose that supply depot wall, not only will you lose the ability to defend the area, you will also lose the ability to produce the units to defend the area. Now, instead of building a supply depot wall, you can just, use your bigger, heftier structures. We saw earlier in the previous games, he did use a command center as a wall. But we'll talk about that after a little while, because this battlecruiser is going to work. Unfortunately, I think it was just a bit too late because Corruptors are already out and they're making good work.
Phoenix knew it was too late, and he did save the tactical jump except to retreat.
Oh, other side though.
We are getting the pokes though, and the Reaper is still alive. Goes for the cluster bomb against the Roaches. The Hellion is deciding it's time to run away from all the acid, and Phoenix does get some good burns. 12 drones are taken down, but Knox can easily rebuild with that many hatcheries and map control.
I think that Reaper was like the oldest Reaper to exist in this series.
Grandpa Reaper.
Ever. Grandpa Reaper. In terms of Reaper, like it's 1 week from retirement. Speaking of retirement, that orbital command is just gonna go down really well. Here we go. Knox is gonna move on and try to see if he can devastate that wall. Goodbye, orbital command.
Corruptors are so strong against structures, against armored units, and they even have the ability to corrupt them and just burn them down. It's very unfortunate.
They, suck on the buildings.
Yeah, you were saying about the supply depot wall a while ago, and I feel like another issue that Phoenix does do from time to time is he overbuilds supply depots when he doesn't need them yet, just to build the wall.
I think that's just, to spend money. You always have to be spending money in StarCraft.
You can be more optimal though.
A good rule of thumb is not having more than 500 minerals at all times, because that will, that's already a building, potentially. But right now, most of our players are having such a good time macroing.
There's a little bit of the flash in the pan. We are going to get +1s coming our way for some of our players. Vision, though, doesn't actually connect.
I'm confused. Why is he getting these upgrades when those units are... Don't hit air. There. I said it.
When you get +1 on range, you can put it for Hydras. Valkyries are though going to attack to warp on in. And you don't want to full commit onto flyers in the first place. Corruptors are strong in itself, and it is going to be Locust instead.
That's why.
Cheeky stuff with the Swarm Host. And range upgrades for Zerg. This is a lot of things. And here we go with the Swarm Host. The Locusts are flying on in. And it's really fun to use the Swarm Host. They don't root anymore. They just send in the flying Locusts. They jump over the ramp, and they do go for the brawl.
Wreak havoc.
Yeah.
As long as their cameraman doesn't show them to people with tryptophobia, we should be fine.
Oh, don't be scared, guys. It's okay. Zergs aren't real, I hope.
I hope so.
I hope. Maybe in a galaxy far away.
There we go. There's the bubbles.
But it's interesting.
That means it's pregnant.
It's interesting that he does put the Nidus Worm in a spot away from his
I think that's
opponents.
just for easier transfer if he ever needs to go back.
It's like a subway station right now, right?
Here we go. He's just ignoring the air threat. There's like 3 battlecruisers and he's like, nope, we're just gonna go kill all the ground things. Yeah.
Roaches and these disposable locals are very strong, especially because the battlecruiser will be focus firing onto the locals instead with the attack move. And the Roaches in the meantime getting microed so well. The siege tanks are going down. And honestly, Knox just playing to a good rhythm. The Corruptors now flying on in. Is ignoring the BCs. The Yamato cannon is firing, and one of them do go down. So Knox Phoenix stays alive for now.
He needs to go back. The battlecruisers are gonna attack those babies.
No, it's time.
Okay. See, that's why. You don't always need to put the Nidus Swarm in the opponent's base. You just need to make a forward command center in terms of Zerg and be able to pull them back. Because those things are really good, but they're also super expensive, especially for a tier 2 unit.
They do take a while to actually get those Locusts on away. And now speaking of the Locusts, they are back into the main base. The Battlecruisers though, taking care of the Swarm Host on the left-hand side. But we're seeing buildings fly left, right, and center. And this has to be the great migration to a different continent here for our Terran. But Phoenix does clean that one up. But look at that, Knox already at 199, 200 supply. This has to be the Zerg keeping the pressure on.
This is the weakness of the Battlecruiser build. They're really good units, but there's only few of them and you can't spread them out that well. Now, he's forced to keep on defending his base and he can't counter wherever he's showing up. And here we go, we hear another Nidus Swarm coming in. The rest of the forces of Knox already moving out. He's leaving those babies, and they're gonna kill that expansion so fast.
Locust going for the third base, and this has to be GG already. Phoenix running out of space to move around. The tactical warps don't do anything. The Corruptors are numbering into the tens, and this has to be the Mr. Turret going on down. The Corruptors now flying on in. They're still at one Viking, but look at the corruption. The Acid Spores just shaking, quivering against those BCs. This has to be the Zerg flying on in. The Micro is there, trying to keep the macro on as well. And the Swarm Host
And
right
there's
now.
the GG.
Yeah, there's the GG. Swarm Host chilling. They did their job.
Wow.
They're like, okay, we're done. We are good to go.
We don't need to stay here. We drop the babies.
We can
They'll do
sit
thing.
down and have a little break. And
No, that's like, okay, as a Zerg player, that's how it feels so good to be able to do that, to actually send a swarm against your opponent, you know? As we saw, the swarm hosts send out their locusts, and the locusts, they will die in time. The trick is getting them to do as much damage as possible, and there's a lot of them. They're like Zerglings, but extra tough. Can't hit air, but they do hit really, really hard against buildings. So it's kind of sad that Phoenix was not able to bring up the wall. It went down pretty fast, like I said. Because supply depot walls are so bad. Don't do it.
I would say
Use better SimCity instead.
I would say honestly, just build a command center, put an orbital command to transition, or a planetary fortress,
Exactly.
and just repair
I don't know,
behind it.
just use a factory. I don't know. Armory? You could probably
I would honestly
delay
say
your upgrades.
a racks because it doesn't cost any
Racks.
gas, and then
If you're going mech anyway, just, you know, use the racks.
Racks
You
is
don't need-
disposable. An engineering bay, maybe. Just don't even finish it up. You see that for a few Terran players, when they want to be annoying against the Zerg, they build an engineering bay, but they don't finish it. I know that's one of the most annoying things for you.
There's a special place for those people. Build the engineering. Yeah, I'm not gonna mention
It's
it though.
okay. They're there. It's anyway.
But you know, of all of my complaints as a Zerg player, they're the ones who's the most representation here in our tournament. So props to our guys. I think Southeast Asia is a Zerg area.
Yeah, all about micro, and it's very.
A lot of our people, a lot of our players would, have opinions about that statement.
Oh,
Zerg
really?
is more of a macro.
Macro, yeah, I agree too.
You build more stuff. Just
I honestly,
get more stuff.
like, I agree too in certain aspects because you need to stay ahead, especially with the hatcheries. But if you think about it, you still need that micro for the Zerg. It's not like Protoss
as
where
much
you...
as I want to defend that.
What?
As much as I want to defend that, no, there's a lot other races that can be, can utilize micro. Zerg is more macro.
I'd say Terran might be in micro one.
Terran is micro.
Yeah, we can agree on that. Protoss is
just 1A.
non-K.
It's just 1A.
Select all army.
Click a button
and then
wait.
it's time.
Collect your free rank
And
points.
don't forget to cast Psystorm
Yeah.
because if you don't, then they don't do much. But anyway, now we are gonna go into game number 2, and we are gonna see a new map. It's finally happening. We are gonna get World of Sleepers, and we were talking about this before. It's pretty standard for the first 2 bases, but the third one has many variants. You can go one behind the minerals. You can go for the one that is on the low ground that has rich minerals, and you can also go for the safer one near your base.
Okay, I hope, we get to a point where that matters. Right? Oh, well, we'll see. We'll see. So,
Did the colors change?
let's
Am I
introduce our
colorblind?
players.
Am I colorblind?
Hang on, let's introduce our players first. On the upper right corner of the map, we do have our Zerg, which is Knox. And on the lower left side of the map, we have our blue Terran, which is Phoenix.
Oh,
Again, yeah, this is... What map does this remind me of?
this is...
It's like a bigger oasis.
It's like the Void map type. If you play the epilogue of Legacy of the Void, it's pretty much all in the dark world. It's all edgy. It's
Spoilers.
crystals.
But in terms of like the construction of the map, it reminds me more of Oasis, like more wavy.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things that you can go around. There's a decent amount of space in the middle, but 2 ramps coming in. I can see big armies engaging through there. But yeah, aside from I think one of the bases is reduced. Is it? Am I?
One of the bases has a rich mineral field.
Oh, okay. It's not the reduced one.
It's
there's
the
a-
enhanced one.
enhanced
actually,
one.
it's on the low ground, so you are in a bad spot if you
But
have to
if you
set it
do
there.
keep it,
You
you
get more
get a
money.
lot more money. Yeah.
Big-
So that's really
the
nice.
big bucks right there. But yeah, still, we are going to get some bases here for Knox and Phoenix. Still standard stuff. Good to see. The Reaper going for some scouting as well. The Overlord flying onto the other side. And this is pretty much your typical TVZ in SC2. You can honestly just have that in a notepad and know exactly what's going on. If
Yeah,
nothing
you know what?
changes.
You know what? This
Go.
is so standard. So I'm gonna take this time, instead of casting it, I'm gonna thank our sponsors.
It's finally time.
Right? Again, this would not happen without our wonderful sponsors. We have Razer, our official esports partner of the 30th SEA Games. TV5 and Signal, the official broadcast partners. And of course, Mountain Dew, SIBOL's official game fuel. So thank you again, guys, for making this happen. This is amazing, way for us to showcase our talents. And speaking of talents, it seems that Knox has spotted the build order for our friend. But does it really matter? Does it even really matter? Because he knows what's gonna come.
Doesn't matter
He
unless
knows what's
something
coming.
is incomplete. If you see all three, it's like, okay, no
Yeah.
problem. Then that's pretty much what you
You
expect.
have buildings.
But if
Congrats.
you're missing one, where is that other one?
That's the big
Where is
question.
go? It's like a missing puzzle piece, and you're trying to look for it, and that's pretty much the show for you. Metabolic boost, though, going to be pretty standard for our Zerg, who should be coming on out. The wings will sprout immediately as
Ooh, will the
Phoenix
Overlord survive?
can actually stay
There's
alive.
like a 1 pixel spot there.
He's gonna
There
shot.
we go. He's like, "Whew, I'm safe.
That's the funny thing about every map. There's always a spot for
Oh
the
no,
Overlord.
no, no.
Oh
He
my!
really
Phoenix
wants to kill
is
that.
so
Fury.
against this
No.
Overlord. Not gonna
No
happen.
seeing, no peeking. You can't see the Great Wall.
Using the barracks for that does.
Can he? Will he? Will he? I want to see if he will. Because if he does, it's gonna be an improvement.
Maybe, just maybe.
I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. But for now, we'll see what kind of things that he's gonna be coming up.
It's
with
a
this
standard
harass.
flame on here from our Terran player. We are going to
Is
get
there-
Hellions and Reapers.
Is
Yo.
there like? Oh, never mind. Okay, I was gonna ask, why is it always 2 Hellions and a Reaper?
Because you usually get a reactor for one of them, and then or one of your buildings, then just transition it to get more
okay.
Hellions.
That
as
makes
quickly.
sense. That makes sense.
Yes.
And then, right, and then
2 becomes
the
4.
old Reaper who's ready
Yeah.
for retirement.
If
he's
the
just
Reaper is
there.
not dead, then it comes with you.
Oh no, he didn't do it. Oh no.
Not gonna happen, man.
Okay, there, one can hope. One can hope. Someday, he's gonna improve the wall. But yeah, Knox. Speaking of Knox, Zergs don't have walls. Zergs don't have walls. What they do have is creep, and creep
It's spreading.
is spreading. And if you spread the creep as a Zerg, you see the map.
And speaking of spreading, it seems like we are going to get a little bit of a branching on out for our players, but now the Hellions and the Reaper just waiting at the wings, waiting for orders to come on by. In the meantime, for Zerg, we are going to get the macro that he needs. He needs to get to a higher tier. Now, we are going to see the pokes, the 4 Reapers and the 4 Hellions rather, and the 1 Reaper trying to burn everything on off, flaming on, breathing
Line
on
him up.
that.
Zerglings coming in.
Oh, perfect lineup there,
wow.
actually, playing to the map geometry. Well done for our Terran. Zerg, though, the Overlord getting the scouts along the way. Some workers did die there for our Zerg player, Knox.
Okay, Phoenix, he knows what's up. I think he's gonna be using those units as a distraction.
It's
I
all,
hope so.
all
Okay,
about the
here it is. Here it is. It is a split push. Let's see.
it's very
okay.
important to actually get those cluster bombs to
I think we
isolate
can
one of the
take a look at
queens.
the main base coming in. Oh,
The
there we
drop.
go.
The drop finally is
There we go.
exposed, and it is time to see all those drones get
Light 'em
cooked to a
up.
crisp.
Light 'em up.
Have you ever tried a barbecue drone? This
Light 'em
might
up.
be a delicacy in some situations. The Hellions no good though, they're down, and that's so unfortunate. The medevac was in position
Before
to get
they
the load.
died though, 5 drones. Not that bad.
Not that bad.
A
Make that
lot of
6.
queens in here though,
Oh, no.
so
the Hellion,
the
the
medevacs.
medevac also goes
No.
down. Not gonna happen. But this is all about the barbecue here from both the fronts and the back sides. Knox
No,
is
nice
in a-
around.
Oh,
Oh,
the
they're
beautiful surround there from
Wow,
the
that-
Zerglings.
that's what you're looking for as a Zerg. If there's a huge amount of Hellions, you just surround them. Even if you're getting attacked, just run past, surround them, kill them. The problem is if they become Hellbats. Then what you gonna do?
They don't have the armory
What you
as
gonna
of
do?
yet, and at the same time, the Banelings weren't used up in that fight. They were exposed, sure, but that was really Knox trying to keep those assets spitting.
Wow.
Now
Okay.
targets the wall. He has heard you. It is time. It is time to listen to the caster. But there is
Yes.
something called the caster's curse, so it might be
We'll
all
see.
for naught.
Maybe. But Knox is also doing something that I haven't seen for a while, and I'm pretty excited because, like, for the previous series, we've always been seeing like Roach, right?
Roach Ravager. Yeah, pretty safe.
He's going to do the other classic way of playing games, of playing StarCraft.
Yeah, but-
Not sure how effective this is in the current meta, but I really do love it.
Well,
There's
in
the scan though.
this
He does
situation-
see that there's a couple of buildings being built.
Phoenix is in a good spot. He does have a lot of those Hellions, so he can burn those up. He was already exposed to the Zerg and Bane combination. Now, it is going to be up to Knox to transition into something else. Now, look at the economy here for
Did
our
he see
Zerg.
though? I want to know if he saw.
did see. He saw what is coming, so he is going to be reacting in kind with more of those Hot Wheels in the first place. But this is very smart for Knox. This is pretty much a build waiting at the wings.
There's a party right there.
It's a patrol right here, right now for our Zerg player. Oh, the mass exodus of the Queens. We might make a documentary out of that one day.
We'll probably come back by the end of the game, see if they reach the base.
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay, this positioning of the Overlord, of the Overseer actually is very important.
Yeah,
he's there. He's gonna see everything unless Phoenix builds like an anti-air.
He's even in oversight mode, so he can see more of the map.
25% more.
It's a bigger circle, as we can see. But yeah, SimCity, factory style, so all about mech. Phoenix going back to his roots in the first place. And now this might be the exposition that we are waiting for. Yes, the Mutas are exposed!
Hello.
And this is going to be the transition from Zerg Bane to Muta. Usually you get 2 base Muta. It's a little bit of the rush. You go for the ball.
You mentioned earlier that Vikings have 1 useful trait, and now it's nothing.
No, it's nothing.
No,
they're
useless Vikings.
they're
Don't make
useless.
Vikings. And here we go.
Make one.
Muta stacking. Let's go.
He needs more Mulas though to actually penetrate through the missile turrets, but now it is going to be time for SimCity to burn down to a ground. There is not much anti-air here. We are going to get... Oh, the Advanced Ballistics does get denied, and that is so unfortunate because they needed that a little more for the Siege mechs to actually swap on over to the Siege mode a little faster.
If you guys thought Reapers were annoying,
And this
get a
is-
load of
look at that Banshee.
Mutalisks.
A Banshee as well here for our Terran. And the mind games from Knox just so
I love this.
on
I love
point.
this. There's a Thor. Okay. I don't think he has enough for a magic box. So he's gonna need to draw them out. Except he's just gonna stay, have the Baneling stick. Those SCVs, nice attack though.
What a huge hit with the Banelings. And good transition there from Phoenix to move into Thor, but Knox has already done the damage that needs to be done. This will force the Terran back into the ramp, back up to the main base.
At this point, either he's gonna die to this attack, or it's gonna be a long game. That's how I can see.
I agree, because if the Mules don't work again, Knox has to
Here we go.
The Reapers.
See?
Oh,
okay.
The Roaches
you have a
rather.
chance. There's an engineering bay. So it has more HP. Let's go engineering bay. You can do it.
What's more important are the siege tanks behind getting the shock cannons to actually blow up the Roaches. And now it is time to say goodbye to both of our armies. They are going to take a little bit of rest, and it is going to be all about the workers moving us into higher tiers.
Okay, this is kind of scary right now because Knox, he's in a very comfortable spot. And unless Phoenix either catches up or sees what's happening, he's going to have a hard time pretty soon. Okay, Hellbat's coming in.
Here we go.
No, he just lifts it out. He's like, no, I'm not going to defend that. Okay, really?
So go for all those Roaches. They are only for the ground. Not going to happen whatsoever.
Their usefulness is starting to, is starting to go down. Because as more anti-armor stuff Phoenix gets, the softer those Roaches seem to be, as we can see here. Let's go.
Yeah, but we are going to get more of the tech switch here for our Zerg, so it only is a matter of time.
Oh look, the Queens went back. Help their friends.
The long journey has come out, and we are going to get the Nidus Worm as well. Oh, the Swarmos are in front, and this is very dangerous right now. The Nidus Worm goes down, the Locusts are there, but he has to retreat with those Mamas.
No, don't
He's going to go for that one. The Siege tanks don't really need to go for the Siege, it's too late. The Roaches are too close. They will take those down. The Thors are there to get some really good hits with the Punisher cannons, but that's so unfortunate for Phoenix. It looks so good, and now Knox just cocking the chamber. It is almost time for the execution.
He just needs to repair the Thors. There's one more siege tank coming back. Okay, unfortunately. Okay, they're fine. I thought they were gonna engage. That would have been really bad for Knox. If they did.
If Knox did get a lot of Swarm hosts though, so if only the Taurus did actually take down a few of the Swarm hosts in the first place.
Here we go, I see.
Nice network now.
It's on the lower right. He has already scanned it.
Yeah,
There we go.
he hears the screech. He does get the notification, I believe, as well.
Here's the thing. It's going to be hard for Phoenix to defend this. Again, Mech is really good, but they're really slow.
Yeah, and it's so cheeky.
Popping up from around the map, these swarm hosts are just going to be able to do so much
You know
damage.
what hurts even more? The minerals are still there, so there's no quick way for the Taurus to get there in the first place. Now Phoenix can get a supply block. Here we go with the Locust again.
Oh no.
This is just going to be the buildings burning on down. It's not even about taking care of the army anymore here for Knox. It's just choking out his opponent. Now we do see some more swarm hosts. Another Nidus Worm. It's all around the map. They're just popping in around, and the Nidus network actually looking really complete into this game.
Very, very well made, this Nidus Worm in the current matchup. Now, the thing about this is both armies are super slow, if you make these Swarm hosts walk around, it's gonna take forever. But Zerg has the Nidus Swarm, and that's helping a ton for this kind of strategy.
Look how quick he does it. The moment the locals come out, and he just decides, okay, it's time to transition somewhere else.
He's gonna melt this army. And the sad part here is even though the locusts are dying, the thing is they're free.
Disposable.
So it doesn't really matter for, Zerg. Zerg just gonna keep on throwing them back. As we can see, he's going to the third again. This is something that, there we go, finally.
This is perfect. Liberator though, Phoenix needing that one to just take care of the Swarm host, force them away. They can't just have a chill day.
But they're still there. It's just a small circle. It's just a little bit hassle.
He's gonna need more than that, and he doesn't have much minerals and gas in the bank. A few locals now. Oh, the locals are ready to go.
Reloaded.
And here we go again from our red Zerg. It's a creeping debt here for Phoenix. Look in the meantime, Knox having so much money in the bank. He can build everything and anything and still have enough for more. Probably donate to charity or something like that. But locals right now just flying on in, taking care of the Orbital Command, taking care of SimCity, taking care of the factories, and should be taking care of this game. Phoenix is caught in a tight web in this situation.
How do you even handle that kind of relentless horde attacking your front and back at the same time? The Zerg. Knox is just, chilling. He's like, hey, I can go anywhere. I got the Nidus Swarms. If only Phoenix has like a mobile unit that can go around and spot and kill all these things.
While shooting?
While shooting, if only.
I mean, that is a very safe answer, but he can also, Phoenix is doing the right thing too, building a Liberator. He's gonna need more though, because when those Liberators are in position, the locals get some surround on the siege tank. And here we go.
Can the engineering bay save this?
The engineering bay doesn't need to go up, but it will still go down. The roaches, the ravagers, the locals all around. The SCVs getting pulled. We do see an Orbital Command protecting some of the SCVs. Should prevent those locals to fly into that base. But overall, it's still the same. Knox right now at so much money. It's
Banshee's still alive?
I guess so. I guess Banshee got.
Maybe you could use that to kill the Nidus Swarms. Right?
It'll take a little more time. The Liberator having a little more of the insta damage.
Oh wow, +3/+3 for both our players. This is a long game.
It's coming to that point.
It's our first long game.
This isn't the long game we expected. This is more of really tower defense coming in for Phoenix. Knox in the meantime going to be sending those creep waves literally with the Swarm host. And I want to see from Knox transitioning to more tech.
Is that a planetary
behind
fortress?
this?
Okay,
It's a PM and it will die immediately. No show. No show whatsoever. And the supply block is there. The command centers are not ready. Phoenix in the meantime has to keep building away from his opponent. And it has to be honestly a little bit of a chase down. It's a ring around the rosy, a pocket full of Posey in World of Sleepers, and maybe the ashes of those locusts will go down eventually.
Very, I just want to say that it's very admirable for Phoenix to still want to be able to expand while barely defending these attacks. But unfortunately, that's really hard to do as Knox is moving in to kill this expansion right now.
Phoenix doesn't want to quit, but Knox has already had the chokehold so early into this game. Now he's on Corruptor tech as well.
He also just entered 10,000 minerals.
10,000. I think he can buy a stock or two in Jollibee.
Buy another copy of StarCraft II if you want.
Maybe. I wish it was convertible. But speaking of convertible, the locals can convert into ground units. The Orbital Command again, gonna lift on up. And I love how Knox
Blue Flame is helping though, although not that much.
Doesn't matter, these units are so disposable. And I was gonna talk more about the Corruptors. They're so smart. Every time the Terran lifts on up, the Corruptors can take care of the Orbital Command. And once every command center in the map dies, that has to be the show. It's already been the show. There's more of an encore right now, and the Brood Lords are gonna be just the star of the show.
Brood Lords are basically just swarm hosts that fly.
That fly. And they hurt.
And yeah.
It's sad.
It's the answer to Thor's, actually.
It's the answer to everything. So basically, you have swarm hosts, you have Brood Lords. None of those units are are part of your supply. They don't cost anything.
It's so beautiful.
And the Brood Lords now, the Locusts are there, the Broodlings coming on out. It's spawning everything and anything.
The supply wall.
It's so small. You see Cole Supply just trying his luck, trying to get as much supply as he can, but now he is on a chokehold. No minerals left. He can hire like 4 Marines and that's the show. The Mules though gonna get called on down.
He needs to siege up and hopefully get his bearings in this fight.
And honestly, this game has been over for the past 6 minutes. We are just seeing the walking carcass of Phoenix try his best.
Come on, man. I'm trying to put some life into this game. Here you go.
No,
Go for it.
we have to be realistic
it's so
right now.
good.
The Thors are getting so many kills. I would love to see how many kills those Thors have. They are stat padding right now. They are getting all the rank points in the world.
there's a
But
GG.
GG is called.
Phoenix.
Finally, Phoenix calls it quits. He did admirably running around the map.
Very admirable
But just-
performance for what it was.
It was just
to be
too
honest.
much. The Swarm host never gave up and never surrendered.
You know, looking back, when I said that Knox is in his comfortable position, he was like 5 base versus Phoenix is 2, maybe 3.
Three.
So at that point, Knox is just gonna be resting. Even if all of his units die instantly, he has like 10,000 minerals. Just make what? How many Zerglings does he have? 20,000 Zerglings? 2,000 Zerglings?
Math is hard.
Bad math. Sorry, I'm bad at math. But the point is, he can make a
200.
lot of stuff.
200.
200.
200, so
he
that's
can max
400.
out.
400.
He can max out
Yeah.
on Zerglings, even if he loses all.
I would love to see Ultralist. I love Ultralist.
Oh yeah, man! I have a special skin for the Ultralist, for the collector.
For the
I bought the
edition.
collector's edition just for the skin.
I
It's
love
so
it.
good.
Same. But yeah, that was our series between Knox and Phoenix. So that might be the last time we see our Terran player for the day.
Aw.
It is gonna be all Zerg versus Zerg action afterwards. So we'll see who is really the Apex Predator after all of this.
Yeah. 3 more Zergs remain. Actually, now that we've done this, I can say that I'm looking for Ender and Knox.
That might be
But
the last
before
one.
that, though, let's take a look at the opinions of our courtside reporter. Is he ready? Okay.
Thank you guys. For SIBOL StarCraft, we currently have 4 members in their training pool, and we are lucky enough to have witnessed them, all of them play here today in the SIBOL National Pool Combined. Now with nearly 3 months left to prepare for the 30th Southeast Asian Games, Coach Mark mentioned a number of concerns to me earlier. Now, unlike other esports teams, SIBOL StarCraft only has 1 full-time player, and to add to that, they don't have a training house as a team. Now, I have with me Ender to shed more light on this matter. So first of all, Ender, alam ko ikaw ay isang veteran na dito sa StarCraft, but could you tell us more about the StarCraft community?
StarCraft community globally or local?
Locally.
I think it's getting better compared last year. Kasi last year wala masyadong events, and since ngayon mag-a-SEA Games, so maraming players na na-excite and all. So,
And it's really good to hear that we are also excited to see how StarCraft will develop in the future as well. Pero to add to that, Coach Mark mentioned earlier na wala nga kayong training house as a team. So how do you guys train?
since may computer naman yung iba sa amin sa bahay nila, so dun sila nagpa-practice. And as for me, may bootcamp naman ako from Team Liab. So, yeah.
So taking a look at this in a team concept, do you think there's a better way to do it?
Sorry, what?
Looking at it from a team perspective, dahil syempre, I know StarCraft is an individual sport, pero syempre, you're still part of a team. You guys have to help each other out. Do you think there's a better way to conduct the training?
I think mas maganda kung magkakasama kami nagpa-practice para rin may feedback sa isa't isa, hindi lang solong nagpa-practice, and yun.
Okay, that's really nice to hear. But on a lighter note, we just want to know, and just out of curiosity, if hindi ka maglalaro ng StarCraft, anong other game would you play?
Madami actually. So, wala naman akong nasa isip. Like any naman.
Okay, there you have it, casters. Back to you.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful interview with Ender. And, you know, he's right. Ender is right. He does have a lot of, games that he plays. And the one thing that encompasses of all of that is that he's also really good at those games. Ooh. Honestly, yeah. So, he's not super stuck at StarCraft.
Can always transition to something else.
Always. I'm not saying that he should, unlike all of our other players.
Ooh.
Looking at you, Waning Moon. What's up? But just kidding. But yeah, Ender is, he's a skilled individual. He's more of a, he researches a lot of stuff. He mentioned that he does watch VODs. Everybody does, but Ender, he takes notes. He remembers a lot of things that he can work on. And then when he does, he goes on into the drills really, really hard. Funny story, because, at one point, we shared an apartment. And he had this tournament that's coming up really, really soon. And he needed to practice. You know what he did? He was not able to, get his arrangements prepared. What he did was he took his phone, tethered it to the laptop,
Okay.
and he practiced using that. Can you imagine
LTE.
the dedication into your craft that you would do something like that? And he qualified, and he flew.
That is so difficult.
Just from that kind of practice. That's the kind of person Ender is. Which is why it's not a surprise on why he's the big boss.
It really goes to show
for
that these
this.
guys are really trying their best in taking this as seriously as they
Yeah.
can. They're sacrificing their time, they're sacrificing their resources, and they're making ways. They don't just give up like, oh, I'll have proper nets, then I guess I'm not in. No, he
Exactly.
will try, and these guys have been trying their hardest to make it into the SEA Games.
Actually, I'm not saying that he's the only one who practices. Knox also, he regularly goes online and he streams his practices. So he really did prepare for like this kind of setup. So I'm happy that he made it, and also for Phoenix and Siphon, because I know they did a lot of work to get into this, and we're just showing people how much they've grown as a player, right? So the Combine is thank you so much for giving us this kind of way to showcase all our players.
It's fun to see their progress, especially
exactly.
from where they started, from the qualifiers, and now they're here. Only we'll see who will actually make it to the games, but we are going to get some more ZVZ action. Your favorite
Of
race,
course,
your
of
favorite
course.
matchup, maybe?
No.
No, I'm asking.
Favorite race, most hated matchup.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, knife fight, as you say.
It's a knife
What do you
fight.
like the most then? ZV. What?
ZVT.
ZVT.
Alien versus humans.
Alien versus-
That's
it's a real
such
movie, I
really
guess.
good- It is.
It is a
and
movie.
it's really good. Anyway, while we're waiting, I also wanna talk about the coach. Yeah, let's talk about the coach, right? So, Mark, their coach of the team, he has been training a lot of really good individuals for StarCraft, and back in the days, in the early days, we didn't really have kind of training houses. He would invite people over to his house, I believe, and then have them train there. So the community that built over in that is so well made. They exist until now. I think it's called EXO.
Yeah.
It is EXO. So aside from this, their coach is so good at training his players. So I'm confident that if anything, our current lineup will be doing really well in the coming
It's
competition.
a very, really community culture, and I'd love to see it be built on. But now it's time to see what the
Speaking
two
of
Zergs
competition.
are going to build into this game. And we are going to see Acropolis LE again, introducing our players, though. On the bottom right, we are going to get the red Zerg that is Knox. In the meantime, on the top left, it's going to be Siphon back in action and looking for revenge to take W on the stage.
Okay, Siphon, you got your rest. You managed to see Knox playing against the Terran. I want to see what kind of things you'll pull off in this game. Because, again, Zerg versus Zerg, if anything, this is the matchup that's like the closest to 50-50.
Yeah. I would say this matchup is...
more than like having any other mirror matchup. A Zerg versus Zerg can go both ways the most because of how fast it needs to be.
Yeah.
So, miss one click, you're dead.
All about
You don't
meta.
have room for maneuver.
All about the meta between these two players as well. Siphon and Knox, I see, are the ones who have studied the most in terms of those build orders, in terms of exactly how to transition. And it's time. They both really put up the same structure at the same time, which is really funny to see. We are getting a little more production, though, from our Blue Zerg.
That is a sign of like a good build order, though, is that at the start, both of our players will be doing very similar stuff at a similar time, because that means that they're, doing the best way to get to whatever they want to do. Now, as the game goes on, in the spirit of StarCraft, it's going to keep changing depending on, what the player personally wants or what their goals are. So now that we see that both of our players started out, the same, it means that their skill levels are around roughly similar. So this matchup should be very interesting.
But this first clash might be telling to see who has the better micro into this one. We'll see though if Siphon or Knox will engage. Now the two Zergling armies
Even
see
the
each
number
other.
of Zerglings is similar.
Into the grass they go. Here we go with Knox to go for the folk. Onto the right-hand side.
No.
Gets one takedown already. And Knox looking for the advantage. Running around with that low HP Zerg. And they end up with the same number of Zerglings.
Exactly.
We are getting the
That's
mirror
a-
matchup.
That's a
that you're
good
looking
mirror
for.
matchup right there. From what I can see, Knox got their early hand in starting the combat, but Siphon managed to reposition his Zerglings in the right place at the right time, so they all survive. Well, same number survive. You know?
Dead even.
Dead even.
Yeah, spawn pools are set on up for both of our players, and we are going to get the wings to sprout as quick as can be. APM going off the charts. And there's one more stat, actually, I want to talk about. Besides APM, there's something called EPM.
Yeah. There's not...
EPM feels
Personally,
more
I like APM better because it has higher numbers.
It does.
EPM is like the efficient...
yeah,
action
things that
thing.
actually matter,
Yeah.
basically. So it really depends on what percentage of that APM becomes EPM. But still, those high numbers are always fun, especially if you
It's
play against...
very fun,
You see
yeah.
it play against AI and they go to like 9,000. Like,
Exactly.
how do I keep up? I guess I'm not. Queens,
Speaking of keeping up,
Queens keeping up. They are
I
on creep.
wonder how Siphon is going to keep up with this kind of barrage.
I like Siphon putting the whole position on to the ramp, but this will sacrifice everything down below. One of the queens go down, so Siphon miscalculating into that one. Now we'll go for this surround onto the Zerglings. The metabolic boost there is just not early enough from Siphon, and Knox just more flexible with those wings. And in the end, Knox cleaning up the whole second base, and now we'll transition into the first. The drones on their attack, they will go for the surround on themselves, trying to cluster on up. But this is so delicate now for Siphon. Knox having the bigger upper hand. More Zerglings come on out, but one more stem of units might be the show here for our Red Zerg.
Now, to be honest, this is very close to ending, honestly.
Oh, the surround!
Nice surround,
Beautiful
though.
surround!
But he's losing drones, so it really depends on his ability to keep them alive after this engagement.
It's like
but Knox is
fireflies.
just going in, he's going ham, he's trying to end this game as soon as he can. Drones trying to help, but they're all stuck behind the big mama.
Siphon though does put the drones in a way that they don't get taken down. They are hiding behind the spawn pool and the hatchery. But speaking of the hatchery, it is the only thing keeping the Zerglings away from the drones. Here we go again with the surround. Knox losing some Zerglings there, but Siphon has run out of units of time, and he just didn't get metabolic boost fast enough. We were talking about the mirror matchup as close as it can be, but those 15 seconds did matter, and Knox takes the first victory of this match.
You are correct. Wow. Okay, let me slice that initial engagement first. I understand why, Siphon decided to keep the Zerglings like in the ramp. He was supposed to put the queens there just in case to, stop a run by. Unfortunately, by the time he realized the Zerglings were already coming into the base and he had to do something, which was to hold position the Zerglings. Now, he did pretty well, killed a lot of Zerglings from Knox and stalled his attack. Unfortunately, you really needed the amount of attacking units below the ramp instead of
To actually
up.
do something.
And the queens, even if they were on the ramp, they could attack. They have a range attack, right? So what happened was, Knox saw an opening. He saw that his opponent was open. Oh, look, the queens are downstairs. Let's attack. He did not hesitate. And this allowed him to basically close out the game.
And the wings, the metabolic boost was just so
Metabolic wings.
important. The speed is ridiculous
Yes.
on those Zerglings when they have those wings sprouted. And you can see the difference. The reposition from Knox a lot earlier than his opponent. Siphon reacting too late to reinforce the queens because one of them already went down. And after just getting the cluster on in, forcing the blue Zerg to hide on the side, that was pretty much the show. So Siphon just faltering with not 15 seconds.
Honestly, just
that ramp,
the moment that the Zerglings went into the base,
that was
it's
over.
It
That was
was
so
over.
heartbreaking. But no,
Speaking of over, this game is not yet as we're entering into game 2 between both our Zergs. Let's see if, Siphon gets a little bit more mileage out of his build order.
yeah, but I'm seeing Knox is very, very vicious right now. And
Yeah.
is he just trying to get by Siphon to rush into the matchup we're talking about? Or is this just really trying out a different build? He did go for the Zerg all in a sense. The Zergling all in that sense. He just kept on making those units.
That's true. It is a factor in playing StarCraft. Sometimes you just really need to end something, especially things like ZVZ. But we'll discuss that in a bit, because for now, we are getting a new map.
Triton LE. It's the Icicle map, basically. It's pretty standard. It's a little big. There's a lot of ramp and rock play all around, but it's very conventional in terms of our map pool.
No, I'm sorry. This is the Oasis one. Look at that spiraling around with the middle path. So what's going to happen here is both our players can utilize this map to run around each other and then hit them from the flanks. Or if they're impatient, like Knox was in the previous game, they can just go straight.
Yeah.
Is there like a block?
There is a
in
block.
the middle of the map?
There's a lot of rocks in other
There we go.
sides, so
There
you
it
can
is,
really
of
see
course.
that they have to go through one way and one way only.
But if you do open them up,
It is now two ways.
it is now two ways.
I guess that's how it works. 1 + 1 = 2. But there is.
That is how numbers
I'm
work.
glad I know my numbers. But yeah, this is game number 2 out of 3. We did introduce our players on the bottom right still. It is going to be Knox. On the top left, we got Siphon, and we are getting our hatcheries out and about for both players. So it, again, same old, and the same thing. But will history repeat itself?
That is a very interesting question because if anything, Siphon has now taken a taste out of Knox. So what's going to happen here is maybe he'll do some adjustments, maybe keep the queens back a little bit more so that he can defend that initial attack. You know, I'm looking forward to a middle game at the very least. But it seems like both our players are preparing for something.
They're waiting for one or the other to do something. That's pretty much it. It all depends on what the Overlord sees, and Knox already seeing those Zerglings.
Will it make? Will it make it? No. He's not gonna. He's gonna need to defend for a bit.
It's all about the positioning right now here for our red Zerg. Siphon is on Prowl.
Oh wait, the
Overlord
okay.
getting in position, sees that hatchery come on out, and he's like, okay, I already get the vision that I need. I already see what I need to see, and we are going to get the engagement. Siphon does have 6. Knox should have enough larva in the bank to hatch out a few more as well, and this is going to be Siphon not going for the attack this time. Doesn't want to risk it. Doesn't want to repeat of Acropolis, and now we are going to get a reset for both our players.
That's actually very interesting because the Zerglings barely made it on time. Now, the irony here is that Siphon should be the one who's being very aggressive because he had the earlier army, but now that army has been rendered impotent. So he needs to catch up in terms of economy because Knox is doing really well if we can check out the lower center position. I think there's already an Overlord there anyway, so we do know that he's going for a bit more economic.
Yeah, getting some larva. He did see more of the macro structures for him. In the meantime, Siphon, not the biggest investment in the Zerglings, but he will be a step behind in the first place. Now looking at production, we are getting our transitions, and we'll see a little bit of a composition swap here for our players. We'll see the 2 Overlords having a conference again. The 2 Zerglings facing off against that 1 scouting. They're trying to nibble, and they will get the legs of that poor Zergling. Just chop it down. Very graphic, honestly, for our poor small units.
Depending on the timing of the attacks that will be happening here, Siphon has a really good chance.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, Knox's choice of units, not the best against Siphon's. But he now sees that there is a Roach, and he knows that he's going for Bane. Now, Banelings are usually pretty good, except when it's against Roaches, because Roaches are designed to tank the damage from Banelings. So unless Knox gets a ridiculous amount of Banelings, Siphon's safe play for Roaches will get him through.
And Siphon has the Great Wall of Evo Chambers this time, so the Banelings,
slightly more useful.
they're very useful, honestly. They're 75 minerals, and you can always just get upgrades out of it. You can always blow it up. You get some Broodlings as well, and at the same time, this means that this becomes a Baneling bust situation. Now, a Baneling bust is when you break a wall with Banelings. So this means that those Banelings are not going to be used against workers, against light units. So even more DPS going the way of structures instead of the other army.
Actually, I don't think it's going to be a Baneling situation. Judging from the production, it seems both our players are upgrading ranged backs.
Yeah, so
he's transitioning.
It's a swap. He has to swap. He knows if he goes with the Banelings, he will lose on outs. And now Siphon, feeling safe, gonna break that 1 Evo chamber to just open up for his units in the first place. The Zerglings though?
Fortunately though, as we all know, Knox already has a 3rd base. So Siphon, he does have a safer army. He can move out and poke, but he's gonna need to do it very soon until or he's gonna lose his timing window wherein Knox's third base kicks in and gives him a lot more stuff.
I like this. I like this from our players. It's one step, two step. One does something, the other does something
Exactly.
else to get ahead, and then it just keeps on going.
Roach speed is up, so he's gonna be able to harass this third base.
Yeah, he
I'm not
scouts that out.
sure
He sees that. He sees those roaches are a lot faster than normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there is a visual upgrade on the reconstruction as well as the tunneling claws if it is ever researched in the first place. Tunneling claws.
Good idea, but you know.
Tunneling claws
don't
used
need
to have the movement speed. That's the thing. Or something like that. It used to just increase your movement speed, or it was a little bit of a bug, so people would get it. But now if you don't get Burrow,
here we
there's
go.
no points.
6 roaches, though.
6 roaches versus the Queen. They will run on
Okay.
away, but this is a scary army here
He
from
needs
Knox.
not to engage with
It's
you.
just like, no, get off my
He
land,
can't engage
get off my
there.
property,
No.
and just die into the ice. But in the meantime, the Zerg is having a skirmish again. It's the same old, same old. It seems like Knox does win that out just a little bit.
There's-
And won't be able to harass the hatchery.
Really no point for him to engage there. Actually, that army was just designed to poke him and see if he is indeed investing on the third. At the same time, Siphon wanted to expand.
Yeah.
So he got what he needed. And
Both sides getting what they need. They get the information, they get the time, and
Uh-huh.
now they are macroing on up. We are getting the usual slate of suspects for our upgrade for both players. You always need that MS, and you always need those weapon upgrades.
okay, the issue here is that Knox got that expansion a lot faster than our blue friend over here. So again, Siphon, he's running out of time. He needs to do something. He needs to poke the bear before it gets too strong. And I think I don't think he has enough. So it's
Yeah.
going to be very hard for him to do so. This number of roaches, again, very scary.
The
Very
bear
scary.
is looking very big already,
He's
and
already
it's
getting big.
even
Fortunately
bigger.
for Siphon, he does have the technology to hopefully stem down the bear.
We'll see how he can keep up in the situation. He can't lose too many units if they ever engage, as he is quite behind in that situation. And Knox right now just keeping on the macro. It is spotted out by Siphon. We are going to get a 4th base here for our Red Zerg. In the meantime, we are going to see the lights here as well from those roaches might be bile into our future.
I think he's going to be spotting this anytime soon. There is an Overlord up there, so he knows a roach attack is imminent. Thankfully, he does have the Ravagers. Here we go. Let's see what kind of attack Knox will be able to pull out in this situation.
Biles are going to be huge, and Knox is like, nope, peace, I'm out. Time to
Nope.
go on away and go back home. Knox still
Okay.
having the advantage in these situations.
Now, that attack, it was the same thing that Siphon did. He wanted to poke the enemy while he expanded. Very, very smart for
Speaking of
both
the
our
poke, though,
players.
there was a drop of roaches on the main
wow.
base, and this is a very good timing here from Knox. Now, he is going to go for the engagement into the front lines. The pincer attack play has to back on out. The Bile is going to get dodged, and it is going to be Knox backing on out with the main force. And here we go with the Overlord Micro dropping on down. The main base getting hassled, getting harassed. The drones are all gone and dusted. And this is exactly what Knox wants to do even more. Choke out Siphon. Just tighten up that news a little more.
And he's just gonna expand and get bigger behind this. He doesn't need to kill Siphon outright. He managed to take out a lot of things in the main, and now he can just, if he decides, he can just sit back. He's already in a comfortable spot, but it looks like that's not what he's doing.
Roach Ravager versus Roach Ravager. This has to be the mid-game fight of the century, but we'll see who can get the bigger piles. And here you go, the front line. All the orange discs gonna get dodged, except the ones at the last part. Does take care of two.
Volleyball happening on our game, and it looks like another drop is going to be coming here, and it's very good timing for Knox as he is distracting his opponent as well from the main engagement here in the third base.
The reinforcer cycle does get stemmed, and now we are going to get a split. This has to be the third base going down on Dusted, the Roaches and the Ravagers again, spitting
Just needs
acid.
to snipe
This
that
has to be
hatchery.
the engagement here and now for Siphon.
no.
He's trying his luck, but he doesn't have enough units. Knox in the meantime, all maxed out, and the acid just going to be flying on out. All of the ice just melting in the wake of the Roaches and the Ravagers. Here we go with the surround again. The corrosive bile doesn't even need to get used, but these mixtays going to be dropping on down. The drones are pulled, but Siphon just so desperate. Doesn't have any more money in the bank. Knox in the meantime, keeping the reinforcements at going and gone. Even ground paraphrase doesn't come on out, and this has to be Knox taking this one by storm. Can Siphon do anything? He's not getting any more minerals in the bank,
And
and
there's the
GG is
GG.
called.
See, that's what I said earlier. Like, he had the bigger army. Siphon had the army at a time where Knox was just investing into his stuff. If he had taken advantage of it, it would have been, it would have given him an edge and maybe equalized the game. Unfortunately, I think he was, too scared.
Yeah,
It's not being scared. He was trying to be more secure. Unfortunately, at that point in the game, you should be, more aggressive. You did build the army. Might as well use it, right?
If you're gonna go army, you might want to take the risk in the first place. You want to go for the action and just get information and get a response from your opponent. But if you just stand on back and your opponent has more bases, that's more money going their way, and they can just capitalize as we saw there.
Yeah. Again, for our newer players for StarCraft, that is a very good lesson. You need to decide what you want to do. If you want a big army, you invest into more economic stuff. But if you are building an army, you need to commit. You need to send them out. They don't need to kill stuff. Killing stuff is good, but scaring your opponent into doing mistakes, into delaying their stuff, their own stuff, will also do. And being able to buy time for you to recover from having invested into an army will help you out in the long run. Unfortunately, Siphon just a bit too short in that kind of execution. But this is Knox that he's fighting against. And Knox has around the similar amount of mechanics to Ender. So it's still a valiant effort for our Blue Zerg.
It's a learning lesson for our players. And now it might be time for the matchup we've been all waiting for.
Oh, is
that
it?
ZVZ. Is it gonna be the show? Knox versus Ender, the only match we haven't done as of yet. And I know you have many stories about those previous encounters from the two players.
So good. At the height of the StarCraft PH, just when Jabito was also one of our biggest players. It was Knox who took over as the second Zerg. And second Zerg is it's not a bad title. It's just that this is Ender that we're talking about. And Knox, if anyone can compete at his level in StarCraft PH, it is Knox. So later on, it should be very interesting.
I'm very excited. This has to be the matchup we all been waiting for. You've been hyping it up for me. In the cast, out of the cast, just the first thing you told me is watch this one. This has to be so good. This is the matchup we're all waiting for. And we are getting into the lobby. We are getting into the game. Both players in their stations. And I'm excited for the ZVZ matchup that we've been waiting for. And here we go!
Here we go.
Game number 1 between Knox and Ender on Acropolis. One more time. Just all the standard stuff, all the goodness you can expect from
Everything's
SIBOL
coming
Combine.
back, my friend.
Come on, tell me more. Tell me about the memories.
Spoilers. It will be retroactive spoilers.
Okay.
But it's gonna be very fun because from what I saw from yesterday is that Knox can keep up in terms of mechanics with Ender. It's just that little things like, for example, yesterday he got flanked. So he just needs to watch out for those little things. And either way, I think this is gonna be a good game.
Could you say that Knox might be tunnel visioning in situations like this when he does get flanked, doesn't pay attention to the sides of his base?
No. Maybe a little bit, but it's more like Ender's ability to multitask. Yeah. Again, as being one of the oldest players of StarCraft, longest players rather, he has practiced a bit more. Knox practices a lot, but in terms of sheer amount of time spent competing at an international level, Ender has been duking it out with Koreans, Americans,
Finish
so
everyone.
He does have a lot of experience under his belt. Knox, again, he's the prince. This is the boss fight. He's like the best chance humanity's got against the big boss that is Ender. So that's why this matchup is so exciting.
It's time to see if we can make it happen. But let's introduce our players. We haven't as of yet. On the top left, we are going to get the red Zerg that is Knox. In the meantime, on the bottom right, we are going to get Ender. And already the engagement going to go on. The hatchery getting poked. Knox in the meantime decided to back on that.
Already have something to say about this. This is like the reverse rules because usually it's Ender that's the one who's very aggressive. But it looks like Knox is taking the opportunity to just, hey, I'm going to be the one who's going to put you on the back pedal for once. And let's see if that's going to be successful. He does manage to take down 2 Zerglings. It's not a lot, but it's a start.
I like his aggression from Knox. He does take a little page from his previous matchup. He's keeping on the pressure. He's trying to get in position. Now, the big thing to keep notes is when the upgrades are going to come on out. The Queen, though, does go off creep, and this has to be Knox backing on out.
The goal of this push is actually to kill the hatchery. And now that Ender has managed to defend it, Knox has no choice. He has to back out because otherwise the engagement will be like a waste of time, to be honest. Unfortunately,
This is scary. It's actually a lot of
Speed
Zerglings
is-
from
yeah.
our Ender.
I'd like to talk about it, but not yet. But it's gonna come in play in a little bit.
It always comes in play in this kind of matchup. There's one upgrade waiting at the wings, literally and figuratively. And we all know it's coming eventually, but it all depends on how much gas you're getting as a Zerg. Now, in the meantime, Ender trying to get in position, going for the ramp play, waiting for reinforcements to be a bigger circle to go for the surround against his opponent. Knox, in the meantime, just retreating to the high ground, retreating his own creep, retreating to the loving embrace
here we go.
of the Queen, and he will have to protect that one with the Zerglings. Ender, in the meantime, can go for the run on by, but chooses to go for the engagement instead, wants to go for this round, wants to go for the pokes, and the Queen in a bad situation. He is quite low already. Drones are pulled instead to save the Matriarch, and here we go with the scout from Ender. Wants to see what else is in the base. Sees the gas, sees the spawning pool, and that should be metabolic boost for Knox in just a bit.
This is very scary for Ender at this moment because now Knox is the one who has more units, more army units. Unfortunately, he's gonna be attacking. Ender, on the other hand, has a couple of queens. And there's the famous wall coming up, so okay. This might be a safe bet. This might be a safe bet.
What's he? Why did he hit his own
He
creature?
needs to get the space for the units.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Now, here's the thing. Knox does have a lot of Zerglings. Unfortunately, they need to hit the buildings before they can hit the queens. So
Not gonna
it's
happen.
gonna be a tall order here for our friend. If only there was like some kind of upgrade to be had for the overlords.
To lift him,
I don't know.
bring to the other side.
Just a thought.
Maybe. But good hold
Maybe.
position there from Ender. Puts the Queen in the way, just in case. And we are going to get a few upgrades underway for both of our players. Now, putting the Queen in hold position means that at least you'll have a way out later on. Doesn't need to break any of his buildings. He doesn't go for the third Evo Chamber, which
Interesting.
usually break in the first place. The Zerglings are waiting on the outside.
Interesting choice of upgrades for Knox. How is he gonna be using this? Because I don't see any tech buildings that's complementing that upgrade.
think
But for
Investment for the future, maybe.
probably.
Oh,
But right now, Ender, with his more economic start, is reaping the rewards of being able to defend this. Although Knox knows that there's gonna be roaches coming in.
he also-
Okay, there it is. There's the.
Yeah, he also
Good thing
sees
is
the
for that
Evo Chamber
upgrade.
upgrading that one too. He sees that the Evo Chamber is breeding. It has a little bit of the heart in the swarm, if you want to say that. A little bit of a pun there. But the Zerglings now just getting the information in the front, sees the roaches.
Look, there's a difference between the animation. But let's see if Ender can actually take out. No reason. Oh, he's
Oh,
doing the
did
run by.
Knox actually go for the run by? No,
he
he's
didn't.
like, nope, never mind. I'm out of it here.
Even if he did, he'd be committing them to death.
I mean, he can just go for
He
the
can do
scout.
some damage,
Yeah, he can
yeah.
also go for the scout just to see what else is waiting there. Maybe some lair tech, maybe even something cheeky like a Nidus, but we don't see anything
That's
as
true.
of yet from those players. The Zergs though, just running on by. Gonna go see if there's a third. Sees the Overlords. It's always funny to watch the Zerglings watch the Overlords. They're like, we can't do anything about you, but we'll just say hi, goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, as you mentioned, information is power, and Knox does have. I think he has an overlord there, so even if he needs to scout, there's the option. And there, on the other hand, is using the opportunity to scout. He's trying to find out what kind of tech our friend Knox is going for. He does spot the late gas.
Yeah, so it does mean that more of mineral-intensive units are coming our way. In the meantime, Overlords might be a key unit into this one. The Overseer getting hampered, the Overlord as well of Knox. But in the meantime,
speaking of
onto the
which,
main
let's
base,
check that.
does he get spotted? There is going to be a little bit of the glow.
Oh,
And the
he did
Queens
spot
are
it.
in
He spotted
position. Will this Overlord
Wow,
survive? No, not
okay.
going to happen. It seems like the Zerglings don't like coffee because they're not going to drop into the cafe.
Excellent, a star sense there for Ender. He knew that something was up because there was an overlord there. So, well, it was a nice try for Knox, but it looks like he's gonna need to do things from the front instead
Very
of the
creative.
back.
Very creative indeed, but sometimes creativity doesn't breed success in this life.
Speaking of breeding, this is gonna be a very dangerous engagement for Knox as he does have a little bit less roaches than our big boss.
This is so
Ender.
unfortunate for Knox. He just finished that hatchery and down it goes. Can't go for the cancel. Trying to go for the engagement. Sees even more right there, right now. The Broodlings are trying to tank things up, but it's not going to happen. Knox going to engage. Ender, though, just running on by. He's trying to get in a position with
wow,
the
there's
queens,
even queens.
but he's losing some roaches as well. Both sides pretty even into this one. Knox going to decide to expand behind this,
There's
but
the
no
G. He
call the
knows, he
GG.
knows,
He
he knows.
knows
There was the
he
GG.
lost that last step right
Yeah.
there, right then, in the roach composition.
See, this is what I've been saying. It's like he's half a step below. It's almost gonna compete with Ender. But the thing is, you know, there's a little bit more stuff that he can learn. He's there, 95%.
So close.
It's so close. Now, what would have happened is, if Ender did not bring the queens there, the roaches of, you know, Knox would have stood a chance.
Yep.
They could have engaged that. But even if Caviar or Ender did not bring his queens for the engagement, they managed to take down an expansion. And that's honestly all he needed to do. The engagement was the extra step that he could have done.
Yeah, and the GG was called because
And the
of
GG
that.
was called.
Like the queens,
It's a little thing. It's a little thing.
If the queens weren't there, him running those roaches right there would have been a little wasteful because he was taking free damage. But with confusion, with the extra DPS,
Exactly.
it was enough to take care of the roach army. And still, again, either unfortunate timing for Knox or just even well calculated by Ender. He either knew the hatchery was gonna finish, so there was no way out.
Actually,
no way to
that
cancel.
is a longer story than we realize, because here's the thing. Remember when at the start of the game, like Knox was the aggressor and Ender was the one chilling and being more economic. The reason why he has a bit more, you know, roaches on that attack was because he was not the aggressor. Ender was busy spending and investing his money into, you know, the longer game. So what happened as a direct consequence of that was that in that engagement, Knox had the earlier army units, but Ender had more, essentially. So it's the little things. Knox just needed some dusting and a little bit more. He could take over our big boss.
The
But
little
speaking of
things-
taking over,
Oh.
looks like we're on our second game.
Oh, it is going to be World of Sleepers this time. Good to see this map getting some love. And let's introduce our players one more time here on the top right. Going for match points already. On that blue Zerg, going to be Ender. Floating on in and sending in a little bit of that scout. In the meantime, on the bottom left, trying to get some redemption, trying to force a map number 3. It's going to be Red Zerg of Knox playing as well.
Now, as you guys can see, both our players are doing the exact same thing. This is what I've been saying. At the top level of StarCraft, there's a very efficient way of doing the things that you want to do. And that's essentially what you guys are going to be aiming for. But if you're, you know, starting out or in the mid-level, the battlefield is your painting. You can do whatever you want. It's not going to win you all the games. Because if you do, this is what you do. You take the build. Take the most effective builds.
Optimize. That's
You
the biggest
optimize.
thing.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Optimize. Speaking of optimizations. Oh, Nooks had that. He just needed not to.
If he only didn't
He
quit.
knew. He knew he had that.
If he didn't quit on it, he could have gotten the kill.
He knew.
My heart weeps, and he's
hesitated.
probably crying. He's crying inside. And
This-
I want to say something about that. Hesitation has been the enemy of our
Exactly.
players today. If
Exactly.
only. There's so many if only moments in our matches. Again, stage fright, a little bit of the shakes, maybe especially being showcased today.
Honestly, I think, you know, having our players play at the stage like this today is gonna help them when they go through the full competition, because this is it. This is where you shake off the shakes,
This has
right?
to be sure.
Right.
This is the prelude to the show that you
Exactly.
are really applying for. And speaking of the show, oh, Knox actually winning out that engagement. Ender has back on now, and he might be
All
forced.
Knox needs to do is snipe the hatchery. All he needs to do.
He might be
But
forced to
Ender,
cancel this.
wow,
We'll see.
sniping 2 Zerglings with that one almost dead one.
That is so smart there from Ender. He's playing the micro game too. The queens are there as well. And Knox missing out one more time. That was so confident for Ender, not even going for the cancel. Knox. And you can see that Knox actually doesn't reinforce that. He is playing more of the safer game into this one.
Let's read that situation, what happened there. The reason that Knox was not able to take down that hatchery was that Ender sniped the 2 extra Zerglings.
Yeah.
If he did not, the queen would not have mattered. The Zerglings would have done enough damage, probably. But since Ender managed to take down extra Zerglings from that engagement,
completely
Knox had
free.
to come back.
It was-
And now, Knox is, again, the aggressor, and Ender is the one investing into his future.
Oh, yeah. Knox, though, playing a little bit to his opponent's style. He is going for a little bit of the investment, but Ender, in the meantime, going to be sending
he
in
knows
a
something's
scouting
up.
army. He does know something's up. Knox going to get in position for that one. 1-2 Zerglings poorly does get surrounded. And this hatchery, again, is out and about. Will Knox suffer the same fate as the previous game? Here on Wordle Sleepers.
Has to be careful. They can be surrounded.
The queen? The
barely
queen?
reaches the ramp.
Barely reaches the ramp. That's so close.
They can be surrounded if they move fast.
Oh, there you go. Ender go
There
for the
we go.
surround. Up and down the ramp they go. Going for the queen. One goes down. Knox losing out again.
wow.
300 minerals down the drain. We are seeing a spine crawler out of desperation. And even more Zerglings here from our red Zerg. Metabolic Poo should be coming on out. The acid in the spawning pool is shining. But in the meantime, Ender has done some really big damage to his opponent, preventing
He can
creep.
still get out of this. He can still get out of this. There's more than enough time for him to get reinforcements.
Beautiful surround again, though. Ender making it happen one more time. One more queens go down. This has to be the drones taking up the mantle of the aggressor and surround his opponent. But I guess it's going to be enough with the Zerglings. That's a lot of investment, though, from our red player.
Exactly. Honestly, that attack was not designed to kill. If it would have killed Knox, I'd be very disappointed. It was just to damage him enough so Ender can feel safe into investing his future. As we can see, he is building a wall.
Here we go again with the wall. And
For the
Knox,
counter-attack.
It's the same old, same old. Knox was forced to build that many Zerglings just to defend.
Exactly.
He
There
might
we
have
go.
overacted just a little bit, but at the same time,
No,
you
that's
have to.
the whole point of the attack.
Yeah, you
Force
have
him to make a lot of Zerglings and then block him off from doing anything with it. It's so smart.
Exactly, and Knox had to build for the now, while Ender is just paving
Building
a
for the
way
future.
for such a bright future for himself. 5 minutes in, and the Blue Zerg just all ahead in terms of those workers and that tier tech.
Now, here we are again in the same sort of situation. Knox has overbuilt his army. He has a lot more stuff, but he can't do much with it. He's gonna need to do some tricky stuff to take advantage of that army. Meanwhile, Ender is just gonna rest on his, progress. He's just gonna sit, get more money. See, Knox is trying to do whatever he can with that army, but it's gonna be pretty hard with those queens, Big Mamas, standing in the way.
Yeah, the queens are quite hefty. If you can't get this around, it's just not gonna happen. Knox just so behind right now. It seems like Ender has just ascended to new heights, especially in terms of the tech. We are getting some really good structures here from Ender in the meantime. Knox, though, so behind. Really trying his luck, but it seems like his luck has run out with the queen just completely stomping on the slot machine.
Yeah, anytime soon. Look, he feels confident enough not to, block the ramp anymore. Oh, wow. Okay, you're correct.
It seems like the ground is quaking here for our players.
So here's the thing. He does have a big army. So Knox might be able to, delay this.
If he sees this, but the worm literally drops
And
in front,
there's-
and that's a GG. He knows it's done.
He knew.
He tried,
Yeah.
he tried, and it's just
If he was
enough.
able to make it and kill off that building, maybe he could have, pulled off a little, buy more minutes in the game. Unfortunately, Ender is just in a position that he can just keep making more.
Yeah, and I think Ender just really going for that arm in the first place. If those Zerglings go down, what else can Knox bring to the table? Absolutely nothing. And that was the show. It was really showing that Ender, above and beyond our players right now.
It is just
the steps, man.
Yeah, maybe half a step. Knox can get there.
Yeah, he can get
but
there.
the game itself was a story of having the ability to expand while not dying. The more stuff you can get, the more things you can kill. That's essentially like that kind of mentality will get you through a lot in StarCraft. Just build more stuff. And as we can see, even at the highest levels, that kind of thinking still applies. As we can see, basically, Ender just has more stuff. He survived the early aggression from Knox both times and both games, so that he can build more stuff. And having built more stuff, he can just kill his opponent.
The most amazing thing also is he forces his opponent to build that stuff, and then he builds his stuff, which is better than the other stuff. So it's like, I have quality here, you have quantity, and now it's time to show you why this matters.
And actually, you're correct. Like, he's forcing his opponent to build stuff that they can't use.
Yep.
Right? So we're trying to keep it a bit simple in terms of concept, but basically that's it. Just have more stuff, right?
Yep.
Again, very good performances for both our players, right? So I'm hoping that they'll be able to get the practice that they need. And it's going to be so fun to get there. I want to be able to see everything that they can do. But for now, I'd like to give it to our courtside. Are you guys ready? Okay, so here we go.
Thank you so much, guys. Maraming salamat sa pag-shoutcast ng game na yon. And right now, kasama ko ngayon si Phoenix na mukhang maraming fans. Batiin mo na muna sila bagong lahat.
I love you, fans!
Wow, I love you, fans. Alright, gusto lang kita kausapin. Siyempre, all players, iba-iba yan kung paano mag-training So, ikaw ba, paano ka nagtitrain?
May time ako ng pag-training. Kailangan ko ng time management. So, yung pagtitraining ko, mga hating gabi. Mga siguro 4 hours lang ng 4 hours.
Hating gabi, mga 4 hours. Meron ka bang ibang ginagawa maliban sa paglalaro ng StarCraft?
Wala naman.
So, StarCraft, dun ka talaga nakafocus and yun talaga ang gusto mo, professionally wise. And right now, I wanna ask you, ano ba sa tingin mo ang pinaka-best asset para sa isang StarCraft player? Ano ba meron dapat sila?
Number 1, yung strategy, tsaka yung tactic, tsaka yung wag sila magkakamali sa build order tsaka timing.
Alright, yun lang naman, Phoenix. Maraming salamat. Narinig nyo na from him, no? So, thank you so much. And right now, makakausap din natin actually si Knox, no? Kakatapos lang ng kanyang match kasama or kalaban si Ender. And right now, andito na siya sa tabi ko. So, Knox, kamusta naman yung match nyo? Kakatapos lang.
Medyo expected naman kasi sobrang galing talaga ni Ender. Pero talagang, tinry ko talaga yung best ko. So, yeah.
Ikaw ba, Knox? Kasi natanong na namin lahat ng mga players for StarCraft. Paano ka ba nagtitraining?
So usually, after classes, maglalaro ako ng StarCraft for mga 4 hours. Ganun. Usually 3 to 4 hours practice. Talagang tinatry ko na everyday. Pero minsan, time priority din. So, yun.
Alright. Gaya nga ng sabi mo kanina din pala, balikan lang natin. Sabi mo na expected mo magaling nga si Ender and all. Pero ano ba sa tingin mo yung pwede mong baguhin? O kaya kung yung nagawa mo, posibleng nanalo ka sana against Ender? Or what can you improve?
I guess yung mechanics ko lang talaga. So very punishing kasi yung game ng StarCraft II. Pag nagkamali ka ng isang galaw, pwede ka kagad matalo. So pagkalaban mo talaga si Ender, talagang even the smallest mistake can cost you the game. So yun. So I think I have to refine my mechanics lang talaga.
Ano pa bang i-improve mo finally?
I guess yung micro, like when you move the units. So very important yun sa ZVZ, sa Zerg versus Zerg din. So.
Alright, maraming salamat, Knox, sa pagpapaunlak ng interview sa amin. Right now, ibabalik ko na kayo kay Dax and Arcantiel. Take it away.
3 to 4 hours. Can you imagine? Ganun yung level mo ng paglalaro in 3 to 4 hours worth of practice.
Dedication.
Isipin mo pag binigyan mo siya ng 12 hours, 18 hours a day, di ba? Actually, isang step na lang si Knox talaga. Pero, again, tama siya Like, ZVZ is a knife fight. Isang maling step and then you
can trip up.
You can trip off. StarCraft, on its basic level, is like that. But ZVZ at a much elevated level pa talaga.
Yeah, it's all about just trying to see who will actually trip on up. And that was an amazing day, Arcantiel. We had so much great action between our players. And we really want to thank everyone who has tuned on in, as well as our players, Phoenix, Ender, Knox, and Siphon. But now it's time to say goodbye, and that's it for us. We're heading over to Karen on RJ instead. I've been Dax, and he's been Arcantiel.
And he's been Dax. See you guys. Over to our hosts.
Thank you very much to our casters, and that is it for day 2 of our SIBOL National Pool Combine. So we saw 3 more games today. We saw a lot more of our esports athletes that are looking to represent the Philippines in the upcoming Southeast Asian Games. So just a quick rundown of what we saw here today. We saw StarCraft, nakakatapos pa lang. We saw our Arena of Valor games, and of course, ang ating mga Dota 2 matches as well.
So nakita natin na showcase talaga nila yung galing nila at kung ano ang kaya nilang gawin para sa Pilipinas.
Pero sa mga interviews, they're all like, ang dami pang kailangan i-improve. And, you know, for everyone who wants to achieve this level, yung mga gusto rin mag-represent ng Pilipinas para sa esports, then naririnig nyo na from our pros how many hours you guys have to put in every day.
Well, of course, hindi basta-basta kasi, di ba? If you want to represent the country, you have to give your best. Talaga. Yun nga, si Knox, di ba? 4 hours daw siya nagpa-practice. After school. Knox naman. Di ba? Galing, di ba? So, ayun.
I see what you did there.
Tomorrow, we will be back here from, ano oras ba tayo? 12?
Yes.
Diba? 12 tayo magsisimula. And then, we have more games. Actually, lahat na. Yung 6. Alright, so Hearthstone, we have that, we have Hearthstone, AOV, we have, magpo-promote din tayo ng mga onting mga stuff. Kanina nakita mo yung Razer Gold, di ba? We're gonna do that one again. And then we have Dota 2, Tekken 7, StarCraft II, and ang finale, Mobile Legends, Bang Bang!
And of course, Sabado. So, sa mga nanonood ng live stream at sa mga bumisita dito sa Ayala Mall Circuit Makati, sana magkita-kita tayo bukas. It is a free day.
Yes, it is.
So please do make time to check out the games here and of course, to cheer on your favorite esports athletes as well.
Lahat ng players ulit, dadating na sila bukas dito. So, dun sa mga may mga fina-follow dyan or mga idol nyo na naglalaro dito, feel free to come. After naman ng mga practice games nila, pwede kayo magpa-picture sa kanila. Okay? So, punta kayo dito sa Ayala Mall Circuit Makati tomorrow at 12 o'clock and watch the games here.
And that is it for us. Once again, ako si Carla.
And my name's RJ. See you tomorrow.
Ano pang hinihintay natin? Tara na.
May nanalo na. Okay. Ay! 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 Ay!
Open. Wide open, Carla. That's good. Okay, don't look back, okay? Don't look back. Go.
Ang mananalo para sa akin, naniniwala ako sa salitang na isusulat. Kaya PSG LGD.
Malaking respeto ng Dota ang utakan. Kung paano nyo babackstabin yung kalaban o kung paano kayo sasegue para patumbahin yung mga towers nila.
Oo nga, wala bang pa-pizza, ganun?
Turo niyo po.
Turo na! Narinig yan, naka-live tayo, guys. Pag hindi nagpa-pizza, alam na.
Everybody here is wonderful. Look at these people. They're amazing.
Using the character!
As a good creator, you do and you write and you draw what you know. And that is what we impart to the world.
Okay, I didn't see what he looked like!
Ano ka ngayon?
Yes!
Push tayo.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Nasa kabilang dulo ka, uy. Ano ba yun? Sayang.
Poor eyesight leads to poor performance. Go to EO Executive Optical for state-of-the-art facilities, expert eye care, and affordable eyewear.
Guys, sundan nyo lang ako.
Nice! Paano nangyari yun?
Pagawa na rin kasi kayo ng salamin.
EO Executive Optical. Love your eyes.